Chapter 561. If you mess with the Great Blackie, I'll have my butler give you a name. Land of Trials. Candidate for the Tree of Creation, are you ready to take the second trial? When the trial statue asked, Yes. I hope I get sealed again. Flamey answered in a voice full of anticipation. Good, then the second trial shall begin. Grow 1,000 world trees. There's no sealing this time. I think I'd do better if I got sealed again. When Flamey asked. No. The trial statue responded in a firm voice. Hying. Hearing the answer, Flamey was disappointed. But instead, for the third trial, I'll seal your abilities. The trial statue gave Flamey a glimmer of hope. Hee, really? All right, I'll quickly grow 1,000 world trees and be back. Flamey hurriedly moved her roots to search for trees to grow into world trees. Meanwhile, the grand magic stream was still growing as it absorbed Flamey's magic power. Drakenia. This is the Leviathan that worked our muck pupil to the bone without letting it sleep. Sejun asked as he looked at the small green thread snake tied up in spider webs, unable to move. Peepoo. That's right, please scold it. Muck pupil nodded his head vigorously, looking at Sejun with hopeful eyes. Want me to scold him? All right. Accepting Muck pupil's request, Sejun said. You scoundrel, do you admit your crimes? He shouted loudly at the Leviathan. Then, Peepoo. Muck pupil's long-harbored resentment began to melt away, and his eyes grew wet with emotion. However, Bebe. What are you looking at? Got a problem? The Leviathan, being scolded, actually glared at Sejun and talked back. Originally, it had become a tradition in the Blackie family for the newest member to pass on the position of rookie while briefing about Sejun, but Hopping Leviathan would get scolded more. Muck pupil didn't tell him anything about Sejun. And then, Kaying. Hey, did you just glare at my butler? Looks like you haven't been scolded enough. Kook. Bebe. Great Blackie, I'm sorry. As angry Blackie stomped on him repeatedly, Leviathan screamed. A short while later, Killahit Kaying. Hee, butler, give this one a name. After finishing the disciplinary education, Blackie asked Sejun to name the Leviathan, and Sejun's nomming shop opened once again. All right, first, let's hear about your special traits. Bebe. Yes, I'm a water snake I can call tsunamis. I recently shed my skin. Leviathan told Sejun all of his special traits. A water snake, tsunami, shedding skin, green thread snake, and he makes Bebe sounds. Should I put a number in the name this time, too? Although unintentional after Mubelchill and Muckpupil, adding goo, 9 at the end would keep the order consistent. TL. If you remember my previous notes, chill and pal at the end of Mubelchill and Muckpupil mean 7 and 8, respectively, in Korean. Then, as Sejun began to deliberate on the name, thump, TL heartbeat sounds. Blackie family watched Sejun with sparkling eyes. Mukun, TL heartbeat sounds. Peepukun, TL heartbeat sounds. Especially Mubelchill and Muckpupil, who had the highest expectations. Mubelchill wanted to escape the embarrassment of having the worst name, and Muckpupil didn't want the Leviathan's name to be better than his own. With everyone's hopes riding on him, Sejun pondered deeply over the name. However, it's a green thread snake, so Nokshogu, TL, Konoksi Huenus, Nokshogu in this Kono, inus Nok comes from Konokse, inus, which means green in Korean, Kosi inus, shil means thread yarn in Korean, and lastly Kogu inus, gu, as you know by now, means 9 in Korean. A snake that summons tsunamis, Hibumgu, TL, Kohebempuenus, Hibumgu in this, Koheinus, Hei comes from Koheinus, which means tsunami tidal wave in Korean, Kopemenus Bem means snake in Korean, and as for Koguenus, gu, I don't think I need to repeat it again, right? A green snake that makes Bebe sounds, Benaku, TL, Kopenokuenus, Benaku in this, Kopeenus, B comes from Kopebenus, which is the sound Leviathan is meaning bebe for ko na enus nak and ko gu enus gu. I don't think I need to repeat again. This doesn't feel right. As no satisfying name came to mind, Sejun's contemplation grew longer. A name that suits one who betrayed his friend. Sejun wanted to give Leviathan, who had tormented Mukpupil for so long, to reflect on his actions. Sejun hoped to come up with a name that would bring tears of guilt just from hearing it. Am I too fixated on the gu? Unable to think of a good name, when Sejun was about to let go of gu and start fresh. At that moment, the character for water, Chinese letter. One Chinese character popped into Sejun's head. Thanks to that, he came up with a brilliant name. Since it's a snake with the water Chinese letter, attribute that makes bebe sounds. Besugu, TL, kopesuku enus, besugu. So the only thing left to explain in this is kosu enus, su, Hanya Chinese letter, which I hope some of you have already guessed means water. The other two, kope enus and kogu enus, have already been explained in the name explanations above. Also, it doesn't have any specific meaning, but anyone hearing would be reminded of drain, kopesu enus. Shiver. Sejun felt chills as he said the name. It was such a perfect name that anyone hearing it would be moved to tears by guilt. Hehe, as expected, I'm a genius. As Sejun was feeling pleased with the name he created, the effect of talent, Namer has been activated. The name Besugu has been imbued with a special effect. All stats increase by 999. Power, 9 damaging water streams, has been granted. The Namer effect activated, giving stats and power to the name Besugu. Then, Kilahit Kaying. He, see that. This is my butler's nomming skill. If you mess with the great Blackie, I'll have my butler give you a name. As expected of Sejunim. Kuruk. Sherarling. You're amazing. Karuruk. Pipiek. Mumu. Pipu. Blackie family was in a completely festive mood after hearing the name Sejun gave. Because it had been a really long time since a name that could make everyone laugh came out. Except for the one who received the name. Bibe. My name is Besugu. While the named party remained speechless. Kilahit Kaying. He, congrats Balchil Peepow. Mumu. Peepoo. While Blackie was congratulating Mubelchill and Mukpupil, who escaped from having the worst names. Meanwhile, Kueha Kuang. Hehe, what they taste like. Siup. Kuangi was drooling while looking at the planet-destroying turtles that were flipped over on their backs. Buck. The planet-destroying turtles trembled in fear, feeling Kuangi's gaze. They didn't even dare think about attacking with their red beams. Not because Kuangi was drooling while looking at them, but because they sensed the beast of Apocalypse's power from Kuangi. They were originally beings called the Apocalyptic Destruction Turtles, who were supposed to help the beast of Apocalypse end the world when the apocalypse came. In other words, they were Kuangi's subordinates. So, trembling under Kuangi's gaze was only natural. They knew they were guilty of abandoning their orders to wait for the apocalypse and instead succumbing to the power of destruction. Buck. As the apocalyptic destruction turtles trembled in fear waiting for their master's judgment. Suraruk. I'll do anything to survive. One turtle shrank its body and struggled to flip itself over. Crawl. The miniaturized turtle crawled desperately toward Kuangi and scratch. O beast of Apocalypse, please spare me for my loyalty. The turtle rubbed its face against Kuangi's leg to show its loyalty. Buck. You're trying to survive alone. Suraruk. The other apocalyptic destruction turtles hurriedly reduced their size and rubbed their faces against Kuangi's body. Kuang. What is this? Why are you getting smaller? Kuangi was momentarily confused by the turtles getting smaller, but then, Kuang. Eat a lot. Kuangi started giving food to the 10 mini turtles. If you're small, they can't be eaten properly. Of course, the plan was to fatten them up and eat them later. Unaware of this, Buck. See, the beast of apocalypse has forgiven us. It's all thanks to me. The turtle that first showed loyalty bragged to its companions. Black Tower Administrator Area. All right, everyone to your positions. When Aileen gave commands while looking into the crystal orb. Queek. Wying. Kuong. Moo. The mushroom ants, poisonous bees, pink fur, minotaur king, and black minotaurs all moved to their positions. Today was the night of the blue moon. Aileen had summoned everyone to harvest crops imbued with the energy of the blue moon. A short while later, as the blue moon rose and time passed, patches of blue crops began to appear across the farm. All right, harvest them. At Aileen's command, the farm members began harvesting the crops. Qhihihi, after harvesting well, I should give these to our Sejun. Aileen checked over the harvested crops, imagining how happy Sejun would be when he saw the crops she had prepared for him. At that moment, Puahiti, Aileen spotted Ace sneaking some of Sejun's crops. And then, my little brother must have been hungry. You should have said something if you were hungry. Aileen completely misunderstood the situation. Although Sejun said to, absolutely, not give anyone the food I made as he wants to eat all of it. I can't let my little brother go hungry. Sejun will understand this, I'm sure. Of course, Sejun understood and was very grateful, though he wasn't the one who had to eat Aileen's food. Thus, the seal on Aileen's food that Sejun had placed for his in-laws family was broken, and Ace found himself face to face with Aileen's food. Paying Nuna, I'm sorry, I won't steal brother-in-law's crops again. Ace immediately begged for forgiveness. However, the tower's administrator says not to worry since she has plenty to give to you. Aileen's misunderstanding deepened even further. Wah Nuna, I'm sorry. Ace's cries echoed through the 99th floor of the Black Tower that night. Drakenia. By now it must be the blue moon. Sejun lay down and looked at the night sky of Drakenia, deep in thought. It was his third day in Drakenia. Sejun thought he would finish the quest quickly, but the dragons were recovering their elemental powers much slower than he had expected. It was because they had lost their powers for too long. Of course, this was only a matter of time. Eating Sejun's food would eventually help them regain their elemental powers. The real problem was Kyukek. Many dragons had no idea how to use their breath attacks anymore. Currently, about half of the dragons had recovered their power, so the quest progress should be close to 50%, but quest progress, 1.3%. The current quest progress was absurdly low. It was because dragons needed to be able to use their breath attacks for the quest to progress. The other dragons were trying to teach those who had forgotten, but, according to Evan, if dragons didn't learn how to use their breath attacks when they were young, it became difficult to master them later. This was something even Sejun couldn't help with. What to do about the breath attacks? As Sejun stayed up late, worrying. Chairman Park, go to sleep quickly, meow. Theo, tired of waiting for Sejun, urged him to go to bed. All right, Kyo. The moment Sejun replied, he fell asleep. Gorarung. Theo followed suit and quickly dozed off. The next morning. All right. Sejun jumped up and prepared breakfast for his companions and the dragons. At first, he only cooked for the dragons recovering their elemental powers, but soon, the other dragons started drooling over his food. Come and eat together. Sejun shared the food so everyone could eat. Then the quest has been updated. The quest details changed, adding a new goal to strengthen the other dragons. As the balance of the world had been broken, the other dragons were also gradually losing their powers. If more time had passed, all dragons would have eventually lost their strength. Puhu Hut, if you want to eat food that makes you stronger, come and get a stamp, meow. Thanks to this, Theo picked up the stamp again and began stamping the other dragon's feet, while Sejun reinforced his battle aura with stats returning to nature. This time, Sejun experienced severe muscle pain, but Kyungi massaged him, helping him overcome the ordeal. Thanks to Kyungi's help, Sejun's muscle-strengthening technique advanced another level, raising the potential of all his stats by 7,000. Kilahit Kang. Hee, you're such a useless butler. Great Blackie will help you. The dragon's praises increased Sejun's mental strength, which Blackie promptly handled by helping Sejun raise his mental strength limit. After such an intense breakfast ended. Kyung. Thanks, Kyungi. Slurp. Ah, my son is the best. KQAH. When Sejun was praising Kyungi while drinking the coffee, Kyungi made title, Top Tower Farmer, effect activates. You have obtained 1% of job experience and harvesting skill proficiency acquired by Ajax Mame, the White Tower's Tower Farmer. With the effect of title, Top Tower Farmer, you acquire 1% of the job experience and skill proficiency gained by Ajax Mame, the White Tower's Tower Farmer. The messages began to pour in as the Tower Farmers started working. And then, if it's Ajax, he should be able to teach breath techniques well, right? Sejun had found the perfect candidate to teach the dragons how to use their breath attacks. In his current state, summoning Ajax wouldn't make him faint anymore. Sejun planned to use the great white dragon Ajax as the dragon's breath instructor. Ajax summon. When Sejun summoned Ajax, summoning Ajax Mame, the White Tower's Tower Farmer. The message appeared. However, this is a summon to a world outside the tower. Ting stay fees considering the great white dragon's stats and status. Since this was outside the tower, there was a cost for summoning. Then the stay fee is 1 million tower coins per hour. Bloodline, Great White Dragon has been confirmed. An additional 500,000 tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power Holy Dragon Strength has been confirmed. An additional 300,000 tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power Guardian of Light has been confirmed. An additional 50,000 tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power Hardened Young Dragon Scales has been confirmed. The endless stream of messages continued. Ah, right, Ajax is a dragon. TL, dragon used here is the Eastern Dragon. If you haven't read or don't remember, the dragons in the level 10 world where Sejun is currently staying are Western dragons. Sejun only now realized the true weight of Ajax being a dragon. Chapter 562. He is actually an ambiguous dragon. The stay fee for the 1-hour stay of the Great White Dragon Ajax Mame is 3.5 million tower coins. The stay fee will be paid by the Great Blue Dragon Kin Aster. Summoning the Great White Dragon Ajax Mame. Once the fee was calculated, the summoning of Ajax began. Wow, if the cost of a 1-hour stay in a level 10 world is 3.5 million. For Earth, you'd have to add 9 zeros to that cost. 3.5 quadrillion tower coins per hour. While Sejun was stunned by the enormous amount. Sejun Hyung, I missed you. Ajax jumped out of the blue portal with a delighted expression. Whoosh! Ajax shot straight into Sejun's arms at full speed. Meow! As Theo quickly absorbed Ajax's energy to protect Sejun. Come here, Ajax. Sejun opened his arms wide with a solemn expression to welcome Ajax. Boom! The sound was far too rough and destructive to be described as boom. However, talent. Master of Deflection deflects 99% of the power of the first attack. Thanks to his talent, Sejun managed to deflect 99% of the destructive force and emerged unharmed. Though it hurt because of the remaining 1%, this was still an incredible defense. Ajax, have you been well? Yes, Hyung, have you been well too? Of course, I've been doing great. Haven't I gotten a bit stronger? You really have. At Sejun's question, Ajax studied Sejun closely and showed a surprised expression. He was still quite weak, but for a sunfish, it was an extraordinary improvement. At that moment, This is the energy of a great dragon. I greet the great white dragon. I am Dragon Lord Evan Draken. Feeling the paralyzing energy of the great dragon, Evan hurriedly paid his respects to Ajax. Being with Ajax further convinced Evan that Sejun was not a great dragon. However, hey, can't you see I'm talking with Sejun Hyung right now? Ajax snapped at Evan for interrupting his conversation, implying that Sejun's status was even greater than Evan had thought. And then, sorry. Ajax, you can't embarrass someone who's just trying to greet you. You should accept their greeting. Oh, got it, Hyung. Fine. Nice to meet you, Dragon Lord. I am the great white dragon Ajax Maimb. Yes, thank you for sharing your esteemed name with me, Great One. He calls Sejun Nim Hyung. Then is Sejun Nim really a dragon? As Sejun gently scolded Ajax and Ajax obediently listened, Evan watched the scene unfold. A new great hybrid black dragon. Evan fully convinced himself that Sejun was indeed a dragon. A little while later. Sejun Hyung's pancakes are the best as always. Ajax happily ate the pancakes Sejun had made, dipping them in honey. Kyung. That's right. Everything Daddy makes is delicious. Kyungi too beamed with joy as he dipped the pancakes in honey and ate them. Kyung. Eat a lot, you guys, and grow up quickly. Kyungi made sure the tiny turtles he had brought were eating the honey-dipped pancakes too. If you grow up eating honey-dipped pancakes, you'll taste like honey-dipped pancakes. Kyungi's reasoning was completely flawed. And then, Bug. Master, this is so delicious. Bug. Indeed, this is the power of loyalty. Master, I'll rub myself even harder for you. The turtles, after eating, pledged their loyalty to Kyungi with even greater enthusiasm. Yes. Bug. While everyone was blissfully lost in the sweet flavors. Ajax, I have something to ask you. Seizing the opportunity, Sejun spoke up. What is it? Could you teach the dragons how to use breath attacks? Breath attacks, sure, leave it to me. Ajax readily agreed. He immediately stood up and called out. All dragons who can't use breath attacks, gather around. He called the dragons together. Tremble. The dragons summoned by Ajax's call began to tremble, overwhelmed by the energy of a true dragon that Ajax radiated. A completely different league compared to Sejun. Facing the genuine energy of a dragon, the dragons instinctively trembled in fear, like mice before a cat. A terrifying atmosphere for a breath training class. However, try shooting a breath attack. Yes. Kyokek. No, not like that. You have to just push it all the way through, and your initial breath is too strong. That's why you can't sustain it to the end. Try again. As Ajax, the breath attack master instructor, began his pinpoint lecture. Yes. Kyuluo. See, it's better when you control your breathing. Now go practice what I taught you 1,000 times and come back. Yes. Gradually, the dragon's fear began to dissipate. But, didn't I tell you to do it 1,000 times? How dare you try to deceive the great white dragon Ajax Maimb? No sir, I did. Of course, when dragons tried to slack off instead of practicing, Ajax quickly returned to his terrifying self and instilled fear once again. By evening, Hyung, I've taught them all. Thanks to Ajax's teaching, all the dragons had learned to use their breath attacks. Ajax Nim's words are breath itself. The dragons who could now use breath attacks praised Ajax, quest progress, 62.3%. Thanks to this, Sejun's quest progress jumped past 50%, quickly reaching into the 60% range. After 2 days, all dragons in Drakenia have regained their strength. Quest has been completed. As a quest completion reward, the power, Sturdy Young Dragon Solid Bones, has been upgraded to power, Resilient Young Dragon Solid Bones. As a quest completion reward, Black Earth Dragon Toryong Park Stay in Drakenia has been authorized. Sejun had finally completed the quest, and then summoning Black Earth Dragon Toryong Park. Toryong was summoned in front of Sejun. Because his stay had been authorized, there was no stay fee this time. Sejun Nim, where is this place? Toryong, who had been eating dirt on the 99th floor of the Black Tower, looked around and asked curiously. Toryong, this is Drakenia. Guys, this is the Black Earth Dragon Toryong Park. You're all dragons, so be friendly with him. Sejun explained where they were to Toryong and introduced him to the other dragons. However, despite Sejun's introduction, an overwhelming awkwardness filled the space between Toryong and the other dragons. Sejun had misunderstood something. Not all dragons were the same. While some dragons resembled the dragon race, others, like earth dragons and sea dragons, took on very different forms. In short, Drakenia was not the kind of place where Earth Dragon Toryong could easily make friends. Sejun Nim, I don't think this is the right place for me. Shake, shake. Toryong shook his head vigorously. Sorry about that. I'll find you some proper friends next time. Sejun promised to do better, and Black Earth Dragon Toryong Park is returning. Toryong returned to the 99th floor of the Black Tower. We should head back too. Ajax, you go home as well. Okay, Hyung, see you next time. After Ajax left with lots of pancakes Sejun packed for him. Land moving. Sejun erected another monument using Myler's hoe. Achievement Monument for the God of Dragons number 2. If you ever face a hard time, just come and pray here. Yes, Sejun thought, if it's a dragon god monument, it should provide some care for the dragons, right? With that, Sejun had set up a dragon god monument as well. Placing his hand on the nearby blue tower, would you like to return to the blue tower? A message appeared. Yes, returning to the blue tower. Sejun and his group disappeared. Seed Shop Headquarters. The ambiguous dragon has built the second temple for you in Drakenia. Divine power increases by 300. The dragons of Drakenia now revere the unknown you as their guardian deity under the command of the ambiguous dragon. 100,000 dragons have witnessed your temple. Divine power increases by 100,000. I've become the guardian deity of a level 10 world. Wow. Myrna, the god of dragons, cheered as she read the messages. This isn't the time. I need to talk directly with the ambiguous dragon and praise him. Myrna quickly used the divine power she had just gained to establish a communication channel with the ambiguous dragon. Since she didn't know its name, the process consumed a lot of divine power. A moment later, when the communication channel with the ambiguous dragon was connected. O ambiguous dragon, I am Myrna, the god of dragons. Thank you for building my temple. It has been of great help to me. But what is your name? Myrna expressed her gratitude and asked for the ambiguous dragon's name. And then Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun replies that his name is Park Sejun. If he's Park Sejun, he is actually an ambiguous dragon. Myrna finally realized that the ambiguous dragon was Sejun. Sniff. Trust in Park's grace truly knows no bounds. For him to pretend to be a dragon and even act as her follower, all for the sake of a god who didn't have a single believer. Myrna, misunderstanding the situation completely on her own, was deeply moved. Park Sejun here, take this divine relic I've created. She sent a divine relic to Sejun and then, trust in Park, trust in Park. She ran outside shouting the chant. At this, trust in Park, trust in Park, trust in Park. Her colleagues began to gather one by one. Everyone, Park Sejun even went as far as to act like a dragon for my sake. Myrna began to share her testimony in front of the other non-combat gods. Temple of the Creator God, Amos, has been destroyed by the invasion of the 7th calamity planet-destroying turtle. Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun and his companions have defeated Leviathan, the serpent that summons tsunamis and 12th seat of the Apostles of Destruction, and completely saved Drakenia. Hello. They've done it again. The Creator God let out a hollow laugh as he spotted the lone message of salvation among the flood of messages about destruction. It was truly incomprehensible. But Sejun and his companions had proven it not once or twice, but 10 times already. Even as the Creator God, it was hard to understand, yet he had no choice but to accept it. That they were capable of defeating the apostles of destruction. They had demonstrated it through their abilities, so there was no reason not to believe them. Moreover, Fenrir was managing the enormous influence created by Sejun far better than the Creator God had expected. To be precise, the other former apostles of destruction were also helping, though the Creator God didn't know that. I suppose I'll have to take a gamble and trust Sejun. Until now, the Creator God had desperately wanted Sejun's help. However, he had handled Sejun with great care, fearing that he might kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. But now he had built a certain level of trust that Sejun would somehow resolve the problems. And there isn't much time left now. With 30% of the world he had created already destroyed, the power of destruction was growing stronger. Some worlds were now being destroyed on their own, even without an invasion of destruction. Moreover, since the forces of destruction had found Drakenia, his hidden level 10 world, it was only a matter of time before the other level 10 worlds were discovered. If that happened, the Creator God decided to send Sejun as a countermeasure. It would be best to dig traps, wait, and send Sejun in whenever an apostle of destruction appears. He quickly devised a plan. Emila Amur. As the Creator God summoned his apostles and began preparing the operation to lure the apostles of destruction, you have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sejun returned home. And then, brother-in-law. Thud, 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 thud. What greeted Sejun was Ace, who had grown even larger. In just a few days, Ace had grown to a towering 5 meters, striking fear into Sejun's heart. Of course, unaware of Sejun's terror, Ace expressed his joy with all his might. Bang! Urg! Sejun was welcomed back home with a bang. At that moment, Myrna, the god of dragons, has sent down her divine relic. Myrna, who had recently introduced herself to Sejun, sent him a gleaming blue-green trident of fire, wind, and water. However, this is just a pitchfork, but why is it shaped like this? Kyungi, can you bend this for me? To Sejun, a farmer, the trident gifted by Myrna just looked like farming equipment. Kyung. Following Sejun's instructions, Kyungi bent the ends of the trident at a right angle, making it perfect for digging into the ground. Kyung. All done, Dad. Well done, Kyungi. Hehe, this will make tilling the ground a breeze. Sejun happily held Myrna's divine relic, now bent at a 90-degree angle, and smiled with satisfaction. Chapter 563, Good, that was natural. Morning on the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sejun opened his eyes. Hehe, home is the best after all. Sejun wiggled his toes while keeping his eyes open due to the effect of power. Sunfish Core, all stat potentials have increased by 30. Due to the effect of power, Resilient Young Dragon's solid bones, all stat potentials have increased by 10. Due to the effect of power, Resilient Young Dragon's solid bones, all stats have increased by 1. And check the messages, The effect of Resilient Young Dragon's solid bones. Come to think of it, I didn't check the powers yesterday because I was busy reporting my return and playing with Ace. Sejun checked the options of power. Resilient Young Dragon's solid bones, power. Resilient Young Dragon's solid bones. Level plus 15. All stats plus 300. All stat potential plus 5000. Every day, all stat potential increases by 10. Every day, all stats increase by 1. Greatly improves learning efficiency. Dragon bones greatly enhance resistance to external energy. Bone density increases further, making bones harder to break, and body weight increases. Hezeli. That's a significant improvement. After checking the options, Sejun grinned broadly. The power had been strengthened, increasing its level by 5, all stats by 200, and all stat potential by 4,000. Additionally, the option to increase all stats by 1 every 10 days had been changed to every day, and a new option was added that increased all stat potential by 10 daily. Letter 24D. Even the options that don't show numerical values have improved a bit. After confirming the power, Sejun wiggled his toes for about 10 more minutes before getting up. And then, meow, kaying. He gently carried Theo and the Blackie family, who were still in dreamland, outside. Step, step. As he let the sound of his footsteps resonate across the crops to boost their growth speed, the radish of strong lower body expresses gratitude for the farmer's footsteps and lends its strength. The effect of great blessing of the crop's master activates, increasing the potential of your magic power stat from 20,357 to 20,367. He increased his stat potential. As Sejun walked across the farm, Kyung, good morning, Dad. Kyungi joined him, clinging to his side. Brother-in-law, good morning. Ace also joined in, hopping onto Sejun's back. Even though Ace was 5 meters tall, his feet still dragged on the ground when Sejun carried him on his back. Puahiti. Brother-in-law's back is soft and warm. Still, Ace looked happy to be carried by Sejun. After a while, Sejun went to the kitchen with his companions and prepared breakfast. Baby brother-in-law, take this and eat it with mother-in-law. My baby brother-in-law. Mother-in-law. Sejun handed Ace an amurus with ketchup-written letters on it. Yes, Puahiti, brother-in-law, I'll send you a heart too. Ace formed a heart with his arms for Sejun before taking the food to his mother. And then, all right, let's eat. Sejun sat down to eat breakfast with Theo, Kyungi, and Blackie family. If he only wrote messages on Ace's food, it would have caused an uprising. So Sejun wrote on everyone's food as well. On Theo's massive grilled fish, he used Churu to write. Great Hybrid Park Sejun's right hand. Deadly Dragon Claw Hybrid Golden Cat Merchant Park Theo. On Kyungi and the Blackie family's amurus, he wrote. Filial son Kyungi. Not so great sunfish Blackie. Eamdal. With ketchup, of course. Kilahit Kaying. He Kyungi Hyung, what does this say? I have the most ketchup. That means the butler likes me the most. Blackie, who couldn't read Korean, asked Kyungi with an excited expression about what was written on his amurus. Kyung. That says great. Kyungi, just eat your food. Blackie, it means eat up and grow quickly. Sejun, feeling guilty, hurriedly got up and mumbled to distract them. And I should eat too. Park Sejun. Sejun wrote his name on his amurus with ketchup. At that moment, the tower's administrator tells you to eat the food she secretly prepared for you without telling her family. Aileen sent Sejun the food she had prepared. Okay, Aileen, you eat this too. With a resigned expression, Sejun added some more writing on his amurus and sent it to Aileen. Park Sejun, Aileen Pratani. Kahihiti, Sejun, I'll make a heart too. Aileen, watching through her crystal ball, made a finger heart towards Sejun. During the meal, Piwu. Hey Basugu, go get some water. Bibe. Yes. Basugu fetched water at Mukpupil's command, as he finally felt like it was getting revenge for all he had endured until now. It seemed like he still had much to learn from Theo. When the meal was over, slurp, Puhuhud, Kuiha, Kivihid. Sejun sipped the coffee Kyungi had made, while his companions settled around him. And then, thump thump thump, Puahiti. Ace, having finished his meal with Elizabeth, approached Sejun, made him lean against his belly, and rested his head on Sejun's shoulder. A peaceful rest time for Sejun and everyone. What are those? I think Kyungi let them loose earlier. They meant to be side dishes. That can't be it. Splash, splash. Munch, munch. The dragons of the Four Dragons Council were watching the apocalyptic destruction turtles Kyungi had released into the fountain happily swimming around. After 30 minutes. All right, guys, let's get to work. When Sejun stood up. Pew hut, great hybrid chairman park, I'll go and make lots of money, meow. Kyuehe kyuung. Hehe, Kyungi will gather lots of herbs too. Theo went to work at Purple Tower, 73rd floor, and Kyungi to the Western Forest. And baby brother-in-law, I'm going to the 10th tower. Want to come along? Yes, brother-in-law. Sejun took Ace and headed to the 10th tower. Currently, Sejun's strength exceeded 40,000, and with beans set, he could easily surpass 100,000 strength. Thump thump. He was worried about whether Ace would fit through the door, but fortunately, as Ace approached, the door expanded to accommodate him. Kilahit kaying kaying. Hee, subordinates, your great leader Blackie is back. I've had another amazing adventure. As soon as Blackie entered the 10th tower, he started bragging about his adventure to the remaining destruction devourers and destruction pioneers. Baby brother-in-law, I'm going to need some strength. Eat this. Yes. After eating 2 sets of Transcendence black beans and sturdy strength yellow beans with Ace, Sejun placed the bodies of the Kraken and Leviathan on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the 10th tower. Previously, Melpheus's body was on the 1st floor, and Delia's body was on the 2nd floor of the 10th tower. Since Alice's body's vitality was running out, they moved Delia's body, which was obtained after Alice, to the void storage. It was to gain experience points. Once the task of moving the Apostles of Destruction's bodies was complete. All right, everyone, shall we plant some seeds? Kaya Kaya. Sejun returned to the 1st floor of the tower and decided to plant Destruction Devourer seeds with the Destruction Pioneers. And then, all right, guys, look at this. I got a new farming tool. Good, that was natural. Sejun pulled out the newly acquired pitchfork and began showing it off. This can do this too. Combine the 3 attributes of fire, wind, and water, fire, wind, water, energy wave. Boom! When Sejun activated the divine relic-embedded skill with his pitchfork, fire, wind, and water energy merged at the tip, creating a reddish-silver-blue energy wave that left a massive hole in the ground. Amazing, right? And now water bomb. When Sejun used the skill again, water trickled out of the rightmost prong. Pew hut, I can dig the ground and water it at the same time. Sejun demonstrated digging the ground while watering it with the pitchfork, smiling contentedly. Originally, the water bomb skill had immense destructive power, but because Sejun only injected a small amount of magic, its impact was pitiful. Fire bomb, I can use this to light fires. Wind bomb, I don't even need a fan when it's hot. Despite treating the divine relic like a mere farming tool, Sejun boasted about it grandly. Kilahit kaying kaying. Hee, the butler is being cute. Guys, hurry and clap for him. TL, being cute here is in the sense like when children show off something they have found. Seeing Sejun like that, Blackie made his subordinates clap and the destruction devourers and destruction pioneers clapped with their leaves and then began working alongside Sejun. Meanwhile, crunch crunch, puahiti delicious. Ace sat at the edge of the tower, munching on banana chips Sejun had given him, watching Sejun plant seeds. Since the upgrades had already reached their limit, there wasn't much else to do. You have planted a destruction pioneer seed, +1, in soil imbued with refined energy of destruction and magic power. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency of magic seed sowing master has slightly increased. While Sejun was diligently planting destruction devourer seeds, the energy of creation created in the 10th tower has reached 12 million L. The 5th floor of the 10th tower is now open. The 5th floor of the 10th tower is now activated. The height of all floors in the 10th tower has been doubled. A series of messages appeared before Sejun. Patrick Nim, Please move Stellanim to the third floor of the tower. As soon as he read the message, Sejun hurriedly relayed his request to Patrick. Patrick, the god of Earth, says that the great silver dragon Stella Hisron is currently helping Hamer, the god of farming, to create the enhancing elixir, so you don't need to worry about her anymore. Patrick responded, "What? She's helping make enhancing elixirs?" Originally, Stella's role was to help those who cleared the trials of the 10th tower. However, since Sejun had been far too weak at the time, Stella sadly became a burden within the 10th tower and, "That's the case, then let me out. I'm bored." Tired of her endless boredom, Stella found a task to do and began helping Hamer make the enhancing elixir. Ah, so that's why the enhancing elixirs have been getting made so quickly lately. Sejun had wondered about the sudden speed increase in elixir production, and it turned out he had Stella to thank for it. You have arrived at the 4th floor of the 10th tower. While conversing with Patrick, Sejun arrived at the 4th floor. Approaching a white crystal tab, when he placed his hand on it, you have cleared the 4th floor of the 10th tower. As a reward for clearing the 4th floor, you have received 10 billion tower coins and 200 billion experience points. As a reward for clearing the 4th floor, all stats increase by 300. The upgrade limit has increased by 100%. The waypoint for the 4th floor has been saved. Moving to the 5th floor of the tower. With the reward messages displayed, a waypoint appeared, and Sejun moved to the 5th floor of the tower. You have arrived at the 5th floor of the 10th tower. Wow, this place is even bigger. The land was massive, 4 times the size of the 4th floor and 256 times the size of the 1st floor. I should plant something first at least. While Sejun started planting crops in the empty land. Rumble. Outside the 10th tower, massive changes were occurring. As the floor height doubled, the tower's height doubled, and the 10th tower got closer to the energy of destruction. The closer the 10th tower got to the center of destruction, the more it began absorbing the thick, overwhelming energy of destruction. An uncontrollable amount of energy of destruction is forcibly flowing into the 10th tower from the outside. 119D. As it absorbed an immense amount of energy of destruction, the same phenomenon as before began occurring again. Oh really, that's great, turn on the lighthouse. Finally, it's time to use this. Sejun, after checking the message, activated the lighthouse of creation that burns destruction. Then, consuming 300,000 L of energy of creation to activate the lighthouse that burns destruction for 1 hour. The lighthouse installed at the top of the 10th tower lit up with a brilliant white light. Sayak. The energy of destruction touched by the lighthouse's light began to burn and purify. And the original purpose of the lighthouse was to signal one's location to those far away. What is this unpleasant light? Jormungandr Nim, it's coming from that tower. Jormungandr and Hydra noticed the lighthouse's light. However, we'll observe for now. If we approach, we might fall into a trap. They were not swayed by the lighthouse's light. No, in truth, they were too afraid to move. Realizing that Leviathan had not returned, they began to feel a sense of crisis. Oh, the light has gone out. As expected, it was nothing significant. In the end, they stayed put until the lighthouse's light went out, allowing the 10th tower to successfully close the distance to the center of destruction. Chapter 564. Hee. Come to think of it, I haven't shown my nephew my gallant side yet. Combat Shop Headquarters. Ha, I've been in such a great mood lately. Did you hear? Sejun recently stood bravely in front of both a Kraken and Leviathan, one after the other, and on top of that, he even took the lead in the fight against the Leviathan. It's clear now that Sejun is walking the path of a warrior. Bevnam, I've also been in a fantastic mood these days. My Kyungi has recently started using the power of storms with such skill. It's obvious he's showing interest in the path of a warrior too. Bev, the god of courage and thunder, the god of storms, who had both been blocked 3 times in a row while trying to curry favor with Sejun and Kyungi on Battler's behalf, chatted excitedly. Sakak Sakak. SHK. In front of Battler, the god of battle and hunt, the god of hunting who were crafting shields and bows to deliver to Theo. Today was the deadline to send supplies to Theo. The two gods were working frantically to meet the deadline. Can't you see we're working here? Go chat somewhere else, it's distracting. Battler, on edge due to the looming deadline, gritted his teeth and tried his best to hold back his anger as he growled quietly. Ha, that's Sejun. Kyungi is. But the two gods ignored Battler and continued to chatter away excitedly. These days, they had a lot to talk about, thanks to Sejun and Kyungi frequently fighting against the apostles of destruction. And then, snap! In the end, Battler's anger reached its boiling point, and he was about to unleash his power when Theo, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower, is urging you to send the divine relics immediately. Theo, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower, is furious, asking how a god could break a promised deadline. Theo, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower, says if the divine relics aren't delivered within 10 minutes, he will impeach. A series of urgent messages from Theo popped up. This is no time for this. The fiery rage inside Battler instantly cooled down as he hurriedly sat back down and focused on crafting the shield. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Everyone, good work. Sejun, having finished upgrading the 10th tower to its limit, returned. It's lunchtime, baby brother-in-law, what do you want to eat? Tteokbokki. Got it. While Sejun prepared the tteokbokki in response to Ace's request. Puhu Hut, Great Hybrid Chairman Park today Vice Chairman Theo earned a lot of money by selling divine relics meow. Kueha Kyung. Haha, Dad Kyungi found some amazing medicinal herbs. Theo and Kyungi returned as well. And then, Puhu Hut, Chairman Park, take this meow. Theo handed Sejun a heavy pouch of money. Kyung. Dad, eat this. Kyungi handed Sejun a dark blue kudzu root of potential. Thanks, you too. Sejun patted their heads and took the money pouch and the kudzu root. He put the money in his pocket and carefully examined the kudzu root that Kyungi had brought. Dark blue kudzu root of potential. The name was different from the kudzu roots Kyungi usually brought. What is this? Sejun checked the item's description. Dark blue kudzu root of potential. A kudzu root that has grown by absorbing life force from a living host. Grown by a skilled herbalist, the kudzu has absorbed almost the maximum amount of the host's life force, further boosting its medicinal properties. It contains plenty of excellent nutrients, providing high satiety and long-lasting energy. When consumed, all stat potentials increase by 100. Tastes like pancakes dipped in honey. Cultivator, Intermediate Herbalist Kyungi. Shelf life 300 days. Grade S. Oh. Sejun was deeply impressed by the fact that the kudzu root had been cultivated by a skilled herbalist. It was a recognition of Kyungi's abilities. It even raises potential stats by 100. As he continued reading the description. Tastes like pancakes dipped in honey. Is that even possible? Sejun curiously put the kudzu root into his mouth and chewed. And then, whoa! The kudzu root melted smoothly in his mouth. Even the texture was recreated. The texture was strikingly similar to pancakes dipped in honey. Gulp! You have consumed the dark blue kudzu root of potential. All stat potentials have increased by 100. As Sejun was eating the kudzu root. Stare. How is it? Kyungi was staring at Sejun with hopeful, expectant eyes. Sejun, belatedly noticing Kyungi's intense gaze, quickly responded. Wow, it really felt like I was eating pancakes dipped in honey. Son, how were you able to create such taste and effects? Thanks to you, Dad got so much stronger. He hurriedly grabbed Kyungi by his sides with both hands and lifted him up in praise. Kuehe Kuang. Hehe, Kuangi worked really hard on my herb research to make Dad stronger. So now Dad has to eat more of the herbs I gather and get even stronger. Encouraged by Sejun's praise, Kuangi was burning with determination. And then, Pu Hut, Vice Chairman Theo, will also find something good to make Chairman Park stronger, meow. Kilahut Kaying Kaying. Hee me too, Butler is too weak. Puahiti, I'll make my brother-in-law stronger too. The rest of the group also became fired up with determination, as everyone was brimming with resolve to make Sejun stronger. Come to think of it, I haven't shown my nephew my gallant side yet. The one causing everyone's worries, Sejun, was thinking about something entirely different. All right, everyone, let's eat quickly and head to the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Sejun hastily prepared the meal. The duration of his power, Master of Magic replica, was only until tomorrow. Today was the perfect time to show off. And he also had to give the Black Rabbit a name. Thus, the sudden decision to head to the 55th floor of the tower was made. Brother-in-law, what about me? Sorry, Ace, you can't come. Ping. Ace, who was still young, couldn't join them. 55th floor of the Black Tower. Black Rabbitnum, this time Daxon Village has been affected. What? Daxon Village has already been hit. The Black Rabbit was alarmed by the report from his subordinate. 5 days ago, after hearing that all the buildings and residents of a small village on the kingdom's outskirts had turned to stone, he had dispatched an investigation team. But during that time, contact with the investigation team was lost, and the mysterious petrification phenomenon rapidly spread across the Red Ribbon Kingdom. And now, the danger had approached as close as Daxon Village, only 100 kilometers away from Rabbit City, the capital of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. This time, I'll go personally. If this phenomenon wasn't stopped, the Red Ribbon Kingdom, which had been rebuilt with great effort, would be in danger. As the king of the kingdom, the Black Rabbit decided to take matters into his own hands. But, Your Majesty, prepare quickly, we depart immediately. Though his subordinate tried to dissuade him, the Black Rabbit urged them, and soon he left the capital with his men. You have arrived on the 55th floor of the Black Tower. In front of the waypoint located just outside White Castle, the royal palace of the Red Ribbon Kingdom, Sejun appeared. Salute. We greet Sejunim. As Sejun appeared, the Black Rabbit soldiers guarding the waypoint saluted him. Is the Black Rabbit inside? Salute. He is not currently in the castle. He's not in the castle, where did he go? That is. The soldier hesitated, unsure if he could disclose the kingdom's strange phenomenon. At that moment, Dedada. Pi PPI. Sejunim, please help. Chachu came running with a pale expression. Chachu, what's wrong? Sensing that something was amiss, Sejun quickly asked. Pi PPI. I lost contact with Black Torch's father. With the Black Rabbit, where did he go? Pi PPI. It's because recently, in the kingdom. Chachu explained the strange phenomenon happening in the Red Ribbon Kingdom. I see, don't worry, leave it to me. Kuangi, let's go. Kuang. At Sejun's words, Kuangi enlarged himself to about 3 meters, allowing the group to climb onto his back. Then, boom! He took off at supersonic speed toward where the Black Rabbit had disappeared. Kuangi, faster. Sejun, now completely unfazed by Kuangi's supersonic flight, urged him to go even faster. Kuang. Got it, Dad, hold on tight. Quagwing. Kuangi, who had been holding back on speed out of concern for Sejun's safety, began to accelerate rapidly, flying at hypersonic speed. Sejun, holding tightly onto Kuangi's fur with one hand to avoid falling. Keikik. Blackie, just hang in there a little longer. Used his other hand to shield the Blackie family, nestled inside his sling bag. After 1 minute of travel, Sejun and his companions arrived at a place where everything had turned gray. Kuang. Over there, it's brother. Kyungi pointed to the black rabbit and his subordinates, who had been turned to stone. And then, SSSSS. A gray aura could be seen creeping over the unpetrified ground, slowly encroaching upon it. The gray aura, which turned anything it touched into stone. What is that? Sejun observed the aura closely. Huh? In Sejun's eyes, he noticed something strange. The petrification caused by the gray aura slowed down significantly when it reached water. No, rather than slowing, the gray aura seemed to dissipate upon contact with water, as if it were removing the water instead of petrifying it. It couldn't turn water into stone. This is it. Sejun had an idea of how to counter the gray aura. Water bomb. Using his trident of fire, wind, and water, Sejun splashed water onto the black rabbit. Crag trek. As soon as the water made contact, the stone encasing the black rabbit's body began to shatter. A moment later, Pipayak. Black rabbit, quickly get on. The black rabbit, still disoriented and looking around, heard Sejun shouting. Pipayak. Uncle. With a leap, the black rabbit hopped onto Kyungi's back. Create thundercloud. Sejun activated his rain thunder skill, summoning thunderclouds. Rumble. In a 60-kilometer radius, the sky became blanketed with dense, dark clouds. This was the result of using all of Sejun's 120,000 magic power. The power was incomparable to what it had been in the past. And to top it off, connect. For 10 minutes, you are connected to 9 streams of magic power. Magic power will be supplied without limit. Sejun also activated the power of power, Master of Magic Replica. Quagwing. What? Sejun, his consciousness expanding as he connected to the 9 streams of magic power, felt an exhilarating rush. Rainfall. Using the infinite magic power, Sejun unleashed a torrential downpour onto the gray earth. Shwa. As the heavy rain poured down, the petrification gripping the gray earth began to slowly reverse, and the land started regaining its natural color. Though Sejun's magic supply was limitless, his output was capped at his maximum of 120,000 magic power, which was a slight limitation compared to the power of the 9 streams. Pipayak. Pipayak. The other Black Rabbit soldiers who had been following the Black Rabbit were also freed from their petrification and regained their freedom. The connection to the 9 streams of magic power will be severed in 10 minutes. The 10 minutes passed quickly and the rain stopped. Pipayak. Having figured out how to reverse the petrification, the Black Rabbit took command, directing his subordinates to splash water onto the petrified villagers to save them. Thanks to the rain Sejun had unleashed, there was plenty of water pooled on the ground. As time went on, the freed villagers joined in, speeding up the process, while the rabbits scurried about, driving back the gray aura. For 10 minutes, you are connected to 9 streams of magic power. Magic power will be supplied without limit. Rainfall. Sejun continued to move forward, creating paths by summoning rain. As Sejun forged paths on the gray earth and the rabbits widened them, they slowly but surely pushed back the gray aura that had been encroaching on the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Dares interfere with me. Kugagung. 119:10. A thunderous roar filled with murderous intent echoed out as the mastermind behind the incident revealed itself, emerging from the gray earth in front of Sejun and his companions. Indestructible gray stone lion, Rachnos. So it's you, the one turning the rabbits to stone, water bomb. Sejun attacked Rachnos immediately. Kaying. That. Blackie, recognizing Rachnos, let out a surprised cry. Rachnos was one of the 5 beings that Blackie had failed to fully digest. And then, Kaying. Huh, that's my core. Blackie also realized that a piece of his core was embedded in Rachnos' body. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, it's time to upgrade the sunfish core. Let's go, everyone. Hub. Blackie boldly leapt toward Rachnos. However, the distance between Blackie and Rachnos was considerable. Whoosh! Blackie began plummeting toward the ground. Sharalering. Ko. Pipiak. Mumu. Of course, Blackie had a backup plan. Kaying. Let's go. The Blackie family flew hard towards Rachnos and thunk. They successfully docked. Chapter 565. Fatty, you already ate earlier. In the mental world of Rachnos, the indestructible gray stone lion. Thump thump. Rachnos, it's been a while. As a dark blue wolf appeared. Fenrir, you bastard. Rachnos roared in anger and began to unleash his power. And then, rumble, massive gray stone walls formed around Rachnos. Grrrrrr, call me the great Blackie now. Are you going to hide again this time? Looking at the enormous stone walls, Blackie scoffed. Ha, you couldn't break through my wailing walls before and yet you laugh. Where does that confidence come from? In the past, when the walls couldn't be broken, Blackie had simply swallowed Rachnos whole. But this time, he wasn't alone. Thump thump. Following behind Blackie, 9 of the former apostles of destruction emerged one after another. Guys, let's get this over with quickly. Yes. Bang crash boom. Blackie and his subordinates began smashing the stone walls created by Rachnos. The walls were not only incredibly sturdy, but also regenerated immediately after being destroyed, leaving no gaps. This was why Rachnos had earned the title of indestructible. Using his wailing stone walls to protect his body, Rachnos had never lost to an opponent. However, boom, grrrrr got you. But it seemed that title could no longer be used. Crack. As Blackie bit down on the neck of the gray stone lion Rachnos, his neck snapped, and his body dissolved into nothingness. 55th floor of the Black Tower. Rumble. When the massive stone walls that had suddenly appeared due to Blackie's exorcism of Rachnos collapsed. Sejun saw the body of the gray stone lion inside the walls crumble to dust. Blackie must have succeeded. Sejun hurriedly began searching for Blackie family, who had been left behind because of the stone walls. Keikirarong. Iamrarong. Kuraruk. Thanks to their snoring sounds, finding them was easy. Guys, good work. As Sejun gathered the exhausted Blackie family. Puhu Hut, Chairman Park, take this to meow. Theo came over, holding 3 orbs that had fallen near Blackie family. 2 gray orbs and 1 black orb. Indestructible gray stone lion Rachnos' power stone, gray erosion. Indestructible gray stone lion Rachnos' power stone, wailing stone wall. Core fragment, 13% of Fenrir, the god-hunting noble wolf and first seed of the apostle of destruction. Ah, thanks. Sejun took the 3 orbs. Absorbing the power, gray erosion, contained within the power stone of the indestructible gray stone lion Rachnos. Absorbing the power, wailing walls, contained within the power stone of the indestructible gray stone lion Rachnos. Sejun stored the core fragment in his pocket and absorbed the powers from the 2 power stones. And then, the target for absorption lacks sufficient strength. Adjusting the strength of the power to match the target. The strength of the power has significantly decreased. The powers were significantly reduced so that Sunfish Sejun could absorb them. You have been granted power, weak petrification curse. You have been granted power, half-broken wailing walls. Let's see the options. Sejun checked the options of the 2 powers he had received. Power, weak petrification curse. Applies a petrification curse that turns the enemy's body to stone. High chance the enemy will resist petrification. Power, half-broken wailing walls. Summons wailing walls that are more than 50% destroyed. And what is this? This nerfing is too severe. Is it because I haven't complained about the system much lately? As Sejun grew increasingly irritated after checking the options of the nerfed powers. Title, One who glimpsed the beginning discovers two powers that can strengthen power. Half-broken wailing walls. A message appeared. Title: One who glimpsed the beginning strengthens power. Half-broken wailing walls using power. Weak breath of the abyss and power. Weak petrification curse. Letter 211. You have been granted power. Broken abyssal wailing walls. Did it get better? Sejun checked the enhanced power. Power: broken abyssal wailing walls. Summons wailing walls that are less than 30% destroyed. There is a very low probability of nullifying an enemy's attack. It improved from more than 50% to less than 30%, but why did he still feel bad? While Sejun was examining the power. Pipayak. Uncle, are you okay? The black rabbit hurriedly ran over, worried about Sejun. Yeah, of course I'm fine, hoo-hoo, I'm not the same as I used to be. As Sejun boasted and exuded his presence. Goo-woo. His aura dominated the surroundings. Pipayak. Uncle, you've gotten stronger. The black rabbit was surprised, feeling Sejun's power. Of course, this didn't mean Sejun was stronger than the black rabbit. It was more of a not bad kind of feeling. Having grown up eating Sejun's crops and becoming a king while consuming countless rare elixirs, the black rabbit possessed strength that was considered otherworldly. Thus, Sejun earned recognition for his strength from the black rabbit. By the way, where are Walgang, Walha, and Black Torch? Sejun asked about the whereabouts of his next targets to brag to. Pipayak. They're probably at the farming school. I'll guide you there. The black rabbit led the way to the farming school. On the way there. What should I name him? Kyuiha. Pipayak. As Sejun watched the black rabbit playing with Kyungi, he pondered deeply. At first, he thought about following the pattern of Walgang and Walha and naming them with Wal as a family name. But then, that would make their son Black Torch's family name different. That wouldn't do, so the beginning had to be Black, followed by Wal from the parents' names. Hyukwal, TL. Hyuk is the Korean for black, and Wal, if you don't remember, means moon. A perfect name already. But then, Sejun decided to add one more syllable for no particular reason. After a moment of deliberation, he chose the final character. May Black Rabbit receive many blessings. How about Hyuk Walbach for your name? TL, Bach here means blessings, luck. Black Rabbit, how about Hyuk Walbach for your name? Thankfully, the overwhelming first two syllables made it a name that didn't sound too odd. Pipayak. I like it. When Hyuk Walbach received his name from Sejun, the effect of talent, Namer, has been activated. The name Hyuk Walbach has been imbued with a special effect. All stats increase by 33. Power, Blessing of the Black Moon, has been granted. Special effects were imbued in the name Hyuk Walbach. Power, Blessing of the Black Moon, was a blessing that temporarily blocks moonlight to create an eclipse and uses that moonlight as one's own power. Hoo-hoo, congratulations on your new name, Meow. Kyuehe Kyuang. Hehe, Walbach Hyung's name is so cool. Theo and Kyungi congratulated Hyuk Walbach on his new name. Kaying. Hey, Butler, you can do better than that. Of course, the Blackie family, who had hoped for a ridiculous name, were greatly disappointed. While they were celebrating the new name, Sejun and his group arrived at the farming school. 119:10. And then, P-Pick. You plant it like this and water it afterward. P-Pick. Got it. P-Pick. P-Pipe. Hey guys, how are you? Sejun greeted Walgang and Walha, who were teaching the baby rabbits. P-Pick. Sejun Nim. P-Pick. Oh my, is it really Sejun Nim? Walgang and Walha were overwhelmed by the aura Sejun was unconsciously emanating. They were shocked at how much Sejun had grown stronger. However, his increased strength wasn't entirely a good thing. P-Pick. P-Pipe. P-Piet. The baby rabbits fainted under Sejun's intense aura. Huh. P-Pick. Sejun Nim, quickly lower your aura. Vice Chairman Theo, my aura. Hut got it, meow. Since Sejun didn't know how to control his aura, Theo helped suppress it. After a while, peep-peek, peep-ayap, peep-yet, the fainted baby rabbits began to wake up one by one. And then, sniff, sniff, peep-peek, peep-ayap, peep-yet. This is. The baby rabbits began excitedly looking around after smelling a sweet scent they had smelled somewhere before. And then, any rabbits who want carrot candy, come over here and line up. Spotting Sejun making carrot candy nearby. Thud thud thud. The baby rabbits hurried over and formed an orderly single-file line in front of Sejun. This was Sejun's way of apologizing to the baby rabbits who had fainted because of him, by preparing and sharing snacks. Peep-peek, peep-peek. Uncle, when did you get here? Hurry and give me some carrot candy. Black Torch, who was the first to reach Sejun, asked in an excited voice. I just got here, here, take this. Sejun answered and handed one piece of carrot candy to each of Black Torch's front paws. He then gave 2 pieces of candy to the other baby rabbits as well. Crunch, crunch. The baby rabbits gathered in small groups with their friends and happily munched on their carrot candy, while Sejun was distributing the candy to the rabbits lined up. Peep-peek. Sejun Nim, hello. Fatty, you already ate earlier. Peep-peek. Fatty, who was greeting Sejun pretending he hadn't eaten, got caught trying to line up twice, but growl. Hearing the sound of Fatty's stomach rumbling, Sejun sighed. Fatty, eat it where the others can't see you, all right. Peep-peek. Yes. Sejun quietly placed 5 pieces of carrot candy in Fatty's front paws. A short while later, Sejun finished handing out snacks to the baby rabbits. Land moving. With a swing of Myler's hoe, Sejun erected a monument of achievement. Achievement Monument for Luna, the god of moonlight number 2. Since Walgang, Walha, and Hugh Walbach all possessed moon-related abilities, Sejun believed praying to Luna, the god of moonlight, could create a win-win situation for both the rabbits and Luna. All right, kids, I'll be going now. When Sejun announced his departure. Peep-peek. Uncle, can't you stay for a night? Peep-ayap. Sejun Nim, stay a bit longer. Peep-peek. Sejun Nim, don't leave. The baby rabbits clung to Sejun, expressing their reluctance to let him go. Hoo-hoo, this popularity. Sejun smiled proudly at their reaction. However, now we can't eat carrot candy. They were disappointed not because of Sejun, but because they couldn't eat more carrot candy. Not realizing this, if it weren't for the power, I could stay the night. Sejun felt great regret. If he stayed and left tomorrow, they would find out his strength shown today was temporary when power, master of magic replica, disappeared. Having sufficiently boasted of his power to the rabbits on the 55th floor, Sejun returned to the 99th floor of the tower. Temple of the Creator God. What's going on? Why aren't these guys attacking the level 10 world even though they can see it? The Creator God had intentionally exposed part of a level 10 world he had hidden to use as bait, but he grew frustrated as the Apostles of Destruction showed no interest in it. This can't be. They're not taking the bait. The Creator God couldn't understand. The Apostles of Destruction were all aggressive beings who would bite as soon as they saw something. But strangely, they were now holding back. At this rate, there's no way to proceed. As the Creator God was contemplating if there were other methods. Black Tower 99th floor at night. Pip-pip, good night everyone. Peacebees began its activities. Slew-up, slew-up. Peacebees enjoyed the fruits that Sejun had prepared, then. Pip-pip, open. Whoosh. It created a dimensional portal and stepped through to another dimension. Pip-pip, not here either. Pip-pip, this place isn't right either. Peacebees opened and closed portals repeatedly, searching for something. Pew-hut, Peacebees, find the place I told you about, meow. At Theo's request, Peacebees was searching for the outskirts of destruction, where Jormungandr and Hydra were located. As the creator god cast his bait, waiting for Jormungandr and Hydra to take the bait, Theo prepared to head directly to the outskirts of destruction, where Jormungandr and Hydra resided. No one knew who would succeed, but for Jormungandr and Hydra, neither scenario was good news. While Peacebees diligently searched for the outskirts of destruction, Kiva hit. In the bedroom, Blackie quietly got up. Chomp. Blackie bit into his core fragment inside Sejun's pocket and took it out with his mouth. Hee, Butler, I'll strengthen your sunfish core for you. He placed his core fragment into Sejun's mouth. Thump. Gulp. Using his front paw, Blackie firmly pressed down, making Sejun swallow it. And then, Keikirorong. Blackie lay back down on Sejun's chest and fell asleep again. As the night deepened, Wulong. Sejun's sunfish core quietly began absorbing Fenrir's core fragment, gradually becoming stronger. It was transforming into Super Sunfish Core. Chapter 566, Always Listen to Your Elders. Early morning, on the 99th floor of the Black Tower. All right. After a refreshing and deep sleep, Sejun woke up earlier than usual. Power. Sunfish Core absorbs core fragment 13% of Fenrir, the god-hunting noble wolf and first seed of the Apostle of Destruction. 1% absorbed. 2% absorbed. 100% absorbed. Power Sunfish Core has been upgraded to Power Super Sunfish Core. Due to the effects of Power Super Sunfish Core and Power Resilient Young Dragon Solid Bone, all stat potentials have increased by 60. Due to the effects of Power Super Sunfish Core and Power Resilient Young Dragon Solid Bone, all stats have increased by 6. In front of Sejun, messages began to appear, informing him of the events that had occurred while he was asleep. Super Sunfish Core. Sejun, flustered upon reading the messages, immediately felt his temper rise. The culprit behind this, the image of the perpetrator, appeared in his mind instantly. Was it you? Keikirorong. Sejun looked at Blackie, who was sprawled out and sleeping peacefully on his chest. Blackie, you little brat. With an irritated hand. Pad. Sejun scratched Blackie's belly. Then, Kiva hit. Blackie giggled, seemingly pleased by Sejun's touch, completely oblivious to the tension in the air. You cheeky rascal, if you weren't so cute, does being cute solve everything? Buck. While giving Blackie a hearty belly rub, Sejun began to examine the details of the newly enhanced Power Super Sunfish Core. The core created by Blackie Park and the 7 subordinates after long deliberation for Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun has been enhanced. Butler gets stronger. All stat potential plus 5000. All stat potential increases by 50 daily. All stats increase by 5 daily. Butler don't die. Vitality plus 700%. Butler never die. For 1 minute and 30 seconds, you can convert all stats into stamina. The stat potential had increased by 2000, and the daily stat potential increase had gone up by an additional 20. Moreover, a new feature had been added, increasing all stats by 5 daily. Vitality was boosted by an extra 200%, and the time for converting all stats into stamina was extended by 30 seconds. It's gotten much better. Even so, Sejun was still annoyed. This was clearly Blackie's revenge for Sejun calling him Super Sunfish. And to be fair, it was Sejun's fault for calling Blackie that, but he refused to consider it as his comeuppance. But since I'm a namer, can't I just change the name of this power too? All right, I'll give it a great new name. Hyper Ultra Sejun Dual Super Core. As Sejun came up with this extravagant name, throwing in every good term he could think of, talent, Namer is not yet strong enough to change the name of powers. A message appeared, informing him that it was not possible for him to rename powers. However, not yet, means someday I'll be able to. Sejun saw hope in the message. As he continued to mull over names for the power, the tower's administrator asks if you're already awake. Aileen spoke to him. Yeah, I woke up early. Why? The tower's administrator says that Hamk has just begun being temporarily incorporated into the 0th floor of the Black Tower. What? Hank is being moved to the 0th floor. Then what about Earth? In a worried tone, Sejun asked. The tower's administrator checked the Black Tower manual and says that up to 5 worlds can be incorporated into the 0th floor, so you don't need to worry. Multiple worlds can coexist on the 0th floor. The tower's administrator explains that the 0th floor is merely a concept that divides the boundaries of the tower. There's no major issue with Earth and Hank being on the same floor. Knowing what Sejun was worried about, Aileen provided a detailed explanation to ease his concerns. Really? Hugh, that's a relief. The tower's administrator says that the reduction in 0th floor stay fees will also apply to Hank, so it's actually an improvement. Oh, that's great. Sejun was delighted by Aileen's words. After chatting with Aileen for a while, meow, Kaying, Sejun headed outside with Theo and the Blackie family. Step, step. The yuzu tree expresses its gratitude for the farmer's footsteps and lends its strength. Sejun let his footsteps resonate among the crops, accelerating their growth. In return, he received potential stat as a reward. A little while later, Kyung, brother-in-law. Just like the day before, Kyungi and Ace came to find Sejun, who took the two of them and headed to the cooking area. As Sejun was about to start cooking, Kyung. Haha, Dad, Kyungi has a dish he wants to eat today. Kyungi is using his coupon. Kyungi pulled out a Sejun's cooking request coupon one day from his treasure hunt and declared it confidently. All right, what does our Kyungi want to eat? Sejun asked with a satisfied smile, seeing the seriousness on Kyungi's face. Kyung. Today, Kyungi wants to eat whatever Dad wants to eat. Since Dad never gets to eat what he wants, Kyungi will use his coupon today so you can eat whatever you like. R. With a proud expression, Kyungi looked at Sejun and said this. At that moment, Sejun was certain. There was no doubt about it. He must have saved the nation dozens of times in his previous life. The world's most beautiful woman, Aileen, as his girlfriend, and now a filial son like Kyungi. There was no other explanation. My Kyungi, you're using your coupon for Dad. Kyung. Hey, that's right. Sejun moved, hugged Kyungi and rubbed his face against Kyungi's. But does Kyungi know that not cooking at all is the best, and even better than that is eating food cooked by others? Of course, Aileen's cooking is excluded. Then let's have garitiok today. For Kyungi, who used his coupon for him, Sejun chose garitiok. Kyungi actually wanted to eat garitiok dipped in honey today, and Dad and Kyungi's thoughts matched perfectly. Kyungi raised both of his front paws in celebration at Sejun's words. Kyungi, you're just happy as long as you can dip something in honey, aren't you? As Sejun chuckled at Kyungi. Brother-in-law, guess what I want to eat too? Ace shouted with wide eyes, clearly wanting to share a connection with Sejun like Kyungi did. Jealousy was written all over his face. Sejun locked eyes with Ace and pretended to think for a moment. Then, Yongari chicken. He shouted confidently. That's right, Puahiti. Ace burst into laughter, grinning widely at Sejun's answer. Knowing everyone's favorite food was far too easy for Sejun. Grilled fish, roasted and dried sweet potato. Riding the momentum, Sejun also guessed the foods that Theo and Blackie wanted to eat. Puhu Hut. As expected, the great hybrid Chairman Park understands me perfectly, meow. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, as expected, my butler knows what I like. Theo and Blackie were thrilled as well. Hehe, simple ones. Watching their reactions, Sejun smirked to himself. Then he set about preparing the dishes, Garitiak, frying yongari chicken, grilling fish, and taking roasted and dried sweet potatoes from the void storage. Although Kyungi had used his coupon to let Sejun eat what he wanted, in the end, Sejun prepared all the dishes that the group wanted. 119:12. After finishing their breakfast. Slurp. As Sejun sipped the coffee Kyungi had brewed. Boom. Suddenly, a powerful energy wave exploded from afar, sending shockwaves rippling toward Sejun. What was that? That's where mother-in-law is. As Sejun turned to look in the direction where the energy wave had occurred. Flap, flap. Sejun, are you all right? In-law, are you okay? Kaiser and Anton's dragon statues flew towards Sejun with all their might, worried that he might have been injured by what just happened. Of course I'm fine, I'm strong now. As Sejun answered confidently with a smile. Boom! Another wave of energy erupted, this one even stronger than the previous one. But are mother-in-law and Ace okay? When Sejun asked them, yes, it's because my daughter-in-law's body is recovering and her power is surging. As for Ace, he's a dragon, so this much is nothing for him. Ace possessed bloodline, great dragon, which allowed him to nullify over 90% of the energy from other dragons. Additionally, he was protected by power, young dragon's blessing, which lasted until he turned 100 years old. This blessing reduced the remaining 10% of energy that his bloodline couldn't offset to 1/10,000th of its original strength. On top of that, there were several other powers that specifically protected young dragons, such as absorbing the energy of surrounding dragons. Without these safeguards, a dragon would likely die from their parents' energy the moment they were born. Moreover, Ace had grown much stronger than other dragons his age, thanks to receiving a name from Sejun and eating Sejun's crops. Ace was born with both a dragon's silver spoon and Sejun's silver spoon. Son-in-law, wouldn't it be better if you went somewhere else for a while? Yes, Sejun, go visit another floor. It'll take some time for Elizabeth's energy to settle. Kaiser and Anton spoke with concern for Sejun. Nah, I told you I'm fine. Just as Sejun was confidently saying this, the duration of power, Master of Magic Replica, has ended. All stats boosted by 20,000 and magic power boosted by 70,000 due to power, Master of Magic Replica, have disappeared. The effects of power, Master of Magic Replica, vanished from Sejun. A message appeared before him. Huh. Suddenly, with 150,000 total stats gone, Sejun felt an overwhelming sense of weakness. At that moment, boom! Elizabeth's energy wave struck Sejun once more. Ouch! This time it hurt a little. I'll go down for a bit. It's always best to listen to your elders. Thus, Sejun decided to temporarily leave the 99th floor of the tower until Elizabeth's energy stabilized. Guess I'll do some shopping. Sejun and his companions headed down to the 75th floor of the tower. 5 hours later, the tower's administrator says that Mom has stabilized and that you can return now. Got it. Hearing Aileen's words, Sejun, who had been shopping, returned to the 99th floor of the tower. That evening, brother-in-law, Mom says she's planning to return to the dragon's territory next week. Ace, who was now eating with Sejun while Elizabeth rested after recovering her strength, delivered the news of her return. Ping, so that means Ace will have to sleep alone at night now. Ace spoke in the most pitiful voice he could muster, staring at Sejun with pleading eyes. It was clear he wanted to sleep with Sejun. Ace naturally assumed he'd stay behind with Sejun. But I don't think so. That wasn't going to happen. If Elizabeth returned, Ace would obviously go with her. And I think Ace will go with your mom. Ping! Ace began to cry at Sejun's straightforward words. He had been fine with the thought of being separated from his mom, but the idea of being apart from Sejun made tears flow uncontrollably. Why are you crying? You can come back anytime you want, and if there's anything you want to eat, just tell me and I'll send it to you. Sejun patted the giant Ace on the back, soothing him. Puahiti. Ace's spirits lifted, and a smile returned to his face as the corners of his mouth curled up. Hey, if you cry and laugh like that, you'll grow hair on your butt. TL. Check my note at the end on chapter 222. When Sejun teased Ace like this. Meow. Kyung. Kaying. Theo, Kyungi, and Blackie gave Sejun strange looks, as if to say, what's so weird about that? The three already had hair there. Ugh. Realizing his joke had backfired, Sejun, embarrassed, tried to act like nothing had happened. Chapter 567. Just endure till they get here. Drolia. At the center of the vast forest. Hang in there. With Flamey cheering it on, the rose tree sprouted golden roses. A moment later. Porarung. A golden flower bloomed at the top of the rose tree, and then, crunch, the rose tree began to grow rapidly. Great job, you did well. Flamey praised the rose tree, which had worked hard to become a world tree. Hee, now that I've raised 300 world trees, only 700 remain. Calculating the remaining number, Flamey reignited her motivation. At that moment, large mosquitoes, drawn by the scent of the world tree flowers, flew over. Tree killer. They were terrifying pests that would stick to trees and suck their sap until they withered and died, truly frightening creatures for trees. Don't interfere with my meeting with Sejun Nim. Quagwing. Of course, to Flamey, they were just bugs. Oh, these might be good for Sejun Nim to eat. Or perhaps they were beneficial insects. Flamey happily collected the cores from the tree killer corpses. Black Tower, 99th floor. Pug. Your field LV 9 has been activated. 119B. You've planted a destruction devourer seed in the body of Alice, the mesmerizing spider and 9th seat of the apostles of destruction. After finishing breakfast, Sejun diligently planted destruction devourer seeds in the void storage. I should be able to level up by today. This was because Alice's vitality was nearly depleted. After planting all the destruction devourer seeds he had, Sejun moved on to harvesting crops. You've harvested a debong persimmon of accuracy. Your field LV 9 has activated, dealing additional damage. Your field LV 9 has activated and harvests stats from Alice, the mesmerizing spider and 9th seat of the apostles of destruction. Strength increases by 30, stamina by 30, agility by 55, and magic power by 35. SRRRRK. Along with the messages, Alice's body disappeared. And then, you've defeated Alice, the mesmerizing spider and 9th seat of the apostles of destruction, who lost her soul. You've gained 4.5 trillion experience points. Level up. You've gained 1 bonus stat. Strength increases by 30. Strength potential increases by 1%. Experience gain messages popped up. With this, Sejun's level rose to 140. You've achieved a great feat by gaining an enormous amount of experience all at once. As a reward for this feat, remaining experience will forcibly complete your job quest, and you will continue leveling up. 7 trillion experience points have been used to forcibly complete your job quest. As a reward for completing the quest, level 141 is unlocked. As a reward for completing the quest, all stats increase by 200. Once again, Sejun bulldozed through a job quest with an absurd amount of experience. Level up. He leveled up twice more, reaching level 143. He felt quite satisfied. As Alice's body disappeared, leaving the void storage more spacious, Sejun gazed at it with a pleased smile. Pug. Your field LV 9 has been activated. You've planted a power sweet potato seed in the body of Delia, the demon of corruption and 8th seat apostle of destruction. Sejun began planting seeds in Delia's body again. While Sejun was diligently working on his farming, flap flap, Anton's black dragon statue flew over. And then, Brother-in-law, please come out. Over. Ace attempted to make contact with Sejun. Baby brother-in-law, I'm out. Over. TL, this reminds me of the scene from Family Guy with Brian and Stewie. Watch here https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals WRVG ox Z7Z2A, letter 1E5F. Sejun also played along, looking around quietly like a secret meeting while responding softly to Ace. This was partly due to requests from Kaiser and Anton, but also because Ace had been feeling down lately. Sejun was doing his best to lift Ace's spirits. Ace, who had gone to the dragon's territory, believed he could visit Sejun anytime in the future. But then, welcome Ace. Ha ha ha, even though you're not even a year old yet, you already look like you're 3. Ace, it's good to see you. The moment Ace arrived at the dragon's territory and received a grand welcome from the other black dragons. Boom! Ace absorbed the energy of the surrounding black dragons and underwent a massive power-up. Ace is too strong now, so he can't go to the 99th floor of the tower anymore. To protect Sejun, Aileen issued an order banning Ace from entering the 99th floor of the tower. Normally, a young dragon couldn't grow so dramatically, even by absorbing the energy of other dragons. However, since Ace had consumed Sejun's crops, his potential had increased significantly. Why can't I go? I want to visit brother-in-law. I hate you, Nuna. This led to Ace sobbing uncontrollably. Kaiser, Anton, and Elizabeth brainstormed ways to comfort him. And so, 3 days passed after Ace had left for the dragon's territory. Brother-in-law, what's on the menu for lunch today? Over. Today it's your favorite yongari chicken. Over. Puahihi, brother-in-law, you're the best. Over. Haha, I know, and you're the best too. Over. Sejun and Ace spent their days playing around like this. A little while later. Here, take this to your parents and eat it together. Over. Puahiti, okay, over. The black dragon statue swallowed the yongari chicken Sejun handed over. Puahiti looks delicious. Ace grinned happily at the yongari chicken and saw Sejun had prepared for him. Thump, 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 thump. He hurriedly ran to his parents because Sejun had told him to eat with them. After handing the yongari chicken to Ace, sizzle. Sejun continued frying more yongari chicken. Aileen, try this. I made gochujang sauce this time. Dip it in and see how it tastes. The tower's administrator says the food looks delicious. After giving Ace his food. Pew Hu Hut, Great Hybrid Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. Kua het Kyung. Hee, Dad Kyungi is back too. Theo and Kyungi returned after finishing their work. Sniff, sniff. Kyung. Today's lunch is yongari chicken, and you made gochujang sauce too. True to his love for food, Kyungi figured out the lunch menu just by its smell. Yes, I tried making something new. How is it? Sejun dipped a yongari chicken into the gochujang sauce and put it in Kyungi's mouth. Kyung. It's delicious. Thanks to the gochujang sauce, it's not greasy, so I can eat even more of it. Kyungi gave a thumbs up with his toe while praising it highly. At that moment, Dedada. Kilahit kaying. Hee, butler, I'm hungry. Blackie, who had been playing outside, excitedly dashed into the cooking area. Come sit down quickly. Sejun spoke to Blackie while placing plates of grilled fish and yongari chicken in front of Theo and Kyungi. He also served yongari chicken and roasted dried sweet potatoes to the Blackie family seated in front of him. As everyone enjoyed their meal. Pee-poo. Water. Bibe. Yes. As usual, Basugu was running errands for Mukpupil, fetching water for him. Recently, Basugu's workload had increased, as he also occasionally delivered roasted dried sweet potatoes from Blackie's storage, making his life as the youngest even harder. Just hang in there a little longer. But there was still hope for Basugu. There were 2 apostles of destruction who would come after him. Since hierarchy here was determined by the order of arrival, so as soon as Jormungandr-Nim and Hydra-Nim arrive. He could escape being the youngest. Moreover, I might even be able to make Jormungandr-Nim and Hydra-Nim run errands for me. Thinking about bossing them around, since he'd no longer be the youngest among the snake faction, filled him with joy. Peepoo. Bisugu, where's the water? Are you done yet? Of course, for now, he was still the youngest. Bibe, bibe. Yes, coming right away. Just endure till they get here. Bisugu endured today, dreaming of the youngest role passing to the new arrivals. And so lunchtime came to an end. Hue, Miuo, Kuyeng, Keikiyang. After having lunch, Sejun yawned as he lay down on the bench. Next to him, Theo, Kyungi, and Blackie yawned along with him. Should I take a nap? Kur. As Sejun fell asleep. Gororong. Keikirorong. Keikirorong. The others soon drifted off to sleep as well, while Sejun and his companions were soundly asleep. Kyung. I forgot to feed the bukbukis. TL. Kyungi is calling the turtles bukbuki as they make buck-buck sound. Kyungi groggily got up and went to the fountain, where the apocalypse destruction turtles were kept. And then, Kyung. Eat a lot and grow big. Buck-buck. Kyungi took out some food from the snack pouch and fed the turtles, on his way back to Sejun. Kyungi, come to the pond for a moment. Flamey Nuna. Kyungi faintly heard Flamey's voice. Following the sound, Kyungi dove into the pond inside the cave. Splash, splash. Swimming to the bottom of the pond. Kyung. There, about 100 multicolored cores, obtained by Flamey after defeating tree killers, were lying scattered. Kyungi, give these to Sejun-Nim. Kyung. Got it. Hearing Flamey's words, Kyungi started picking up the cores. Kyung. Flamey Nuna, but what should Kyungi say when Dad asks where these came from? Flamey thought for a moment. Let's say Pottery gave them to you. Kyung. Got it. After hearing Flamey's response, Kyungi gathered the cores and returned to Sejun. Kkyuha. He snuggled into the still sleeping Sejun's arms. Kkurorong. And quickly fell asleep again. A little while later. Oh, Pottery gave these to you. Sejun woke up, received the cores from Kyungi and checked their stats. Core of the Tree Killer. A core made by tree killer insects inhabiting Drolia by sucking tree sap. When consumed, increases stamina potential by 50 and stamina by 20. When consumed, has a low chance of awakening talent, extraction. Has a grassy taste due to the sap-based diet of the tree killer. Usage restriction. All stats must be 100 or higher. Grade A. The cores made from the sap of various trees had widely varying stats and effects. Haha, still these are pretty great. Smiling, Sejun went to thank Pottery. Me? Pottery looked utterly confused. Yeah, Kyungi said you were the one who gave this. Sejun showed the cores to Pottery as he spoke. What's going on? Pottery, who hadn't heard anything about this, was flustered. At that moment, Kyungi used telekinesis to gather twigs and leaves, forming the shape of Flamey, and signaled to Pottery. Ah, it must have been Flamey Nim's doing. Of course, I personally obtained these for Sejun Nim. Realizing it was Flamey's mission, Pottery quickly lied. However, really, these are from Drolia, but how did you manage to get them? That's because I'm a dimensional tree. I brought them from another dimension. One lie led to another. Dimensional tree. Yes, I've recently become a dimensional tree. A dimensional tree, is that better than a world tree? Yes, dimensional trees can root themselves in multiple dimensions. Wow, that's amazing. So other than Drolia, where else have you rooted yourself? Curious to know if there was a world Pottery was connected to that he recognized, Sejun asked. Well, there's Drolia and Pottery named 5 worlds that Sejun couldn't verify. After all, dimensional trees needed to be rooted in at least 5 worlds. Pottery paid close attention to the details to ensure the lie wasn't uncovered. Oh, so there's a tree even greater than the world tree. Anyway, thanks for this, Pottery. I'll enjoy it. Yes, enjoy. After Sejun left. Phew, I didn't get caught. Pottery sighed in relief. At that moment, shiver. What's this? Rustle. Pottery's branches trembled as a sudden chill ran through them. Hee. It'll be convenient for Pottery to be a dimension tree to keep delivering good things to Sejun Nim in the future. Unaware of what was happening, Pottery had unwittingly opened a path toward becoming an actual dimensional tree. Chapter 568, Hehe, I can't enjoy this alone. Sejun, who had helped Pottery with his forced promotion, put a tree killer's core into his mouth. And then, as the core melted smoothly, his mouth was filled with the scent of grass, as if he had entered a forest. On top of that, while it tasted like grass, it reminded him of the green juice his mom used to make when he was young. In short, it wasn't great. Since he'd already prepared himself for it to taste bad, it was tolerable enough to eat. Gulp. After swallowing the core, you have consumed Tree Killer's core. Magic stat potential increases by 30. Strength stat increases by 5. Messages appeared. Sejun swallowed another Tree Killer's core and thought, Hehe, I can't enjoy this alone. I should share this healthy flavor with others. Who should I start with? Sejun searched for targets to share the healthy taste with. Lick. First, Theo, who was busy grooming himself, was passed over since he wouldn't touch anything other than grilled fish or churu. Kyungi, who smiled innocently when his eyes met with Sejun, was passed over because his sense of smell was too good. In the end, only Blackie family remained. If he gave it to them as is, it would be too obvious. Sejun took out roasted and dried sweet potato slices, made a gap in the middle, and carefully inserted pieces of the Tree Killer's core. Then, Blackie, want some roasted sweet potato slices? When he asked Blackie, Kilahit Kaying, I'll eat it. Blackie took the bait right away. All right, here have it. Sejun tried his best to hide his expression so his anticipation wouldn't show on his face as he gave Blackie the dried roasted sweet potatoes with the Tree Killer cores inside. Then, chomp. Blackie ate the roasted sweet potato slices enthusiastically. Sejun watched Blackie, waiting for the reaction he was anticipating, but even after Blackie finished eating one slice, the reaction Sejun had been hoping for didn't come. What's going on? As Sejun looked at Blackie with confusion. What's that? Sejun noticed pieces of the Tree Killer's core scattered around Blackie. For Blackie, who had the title of Genius of Deboning, removing the Tree Killer's core from between the roasted sweet potato and eating only the sweet potato was a piece of cake. Thus, Sejun's attempt to spread the healthy taste failed. He tried again with the mushroom ants and the poisonous bees, but they all failed too. At that moment, Black Minotaur 103 passed by in front of Sejun. However, determined to spread the healthy taste, Sejun didn't offer the Tree Killer's core to Minotaur 103, whose main diet was grass. It was a moment where his true intentions were revealed. Oh well, I'll just eat it myself. Giving up on spreading the healthy taste, or rather, the thought of not wanting to eat something unpleasant alone, Sejun resumed eating the Tree Killer's cores. By the time he had eaten 95 cores, you have consumed Tree Killer's core. Stamina stat potential increases by 50. Agility stat increases by 7. Talent extraction has awakened. A new talent awakened. Talent extraction. A talent that allows you to squeeze out juice well by applying strong pressure. Extract juice efficiently. Kyungi, let's have a juice squeezing contest. Sejun suggested a juice squeezing contest with Kyungi to test his talent. However, drip, gush, Kyungi's overwhelming strength was too much for Sejun to compete with, even with his newfound talent. Him, Sejun quietly ate the remaining tree killer's cores and moved to the golden rice fields, where the rice had ripened well, to start his afternoon farming. At that moment, Sejun, Ramter called out to him. Ramter Nim, hello. Yes, Sejun, come visit the Red Tower sometime. As soon as Sejun greeted him, Ramter got straight to the point. The Red Tower, that's Puhaha. Thanks to your watermelon wine, the temperature in the Red Tower has dropped significantly. Really? Then is the lava gone too? Yes, it's gone, so now you can come visit. All right, I'll definitely go. Sejun's face lit up at Ramter's words. The reason Sejun hadn't gone to the Red Tower until now was that all the waypoints of the Red Tower, for which he owned the land deeds, were inside lava zones. Sejun had learned this by chance while talking with Udon, and after that, he completely gave up on visiting the Red Tower. Of course, he could have gone if he really wanted to, but he didn't see the point of going through the trouble. If the 10th tower didn't exist, he might have gone with the goal of conquering the last tower and earning the title, who reached the summit of 9 towers, but that wasn't the case, so he hadn't rushed. Then I'll go after harvesting the rice. Puhaha, all right. When you arrive, call Udon, and he'll give you the land deed for the 99th floor of the tower. Got it. With that, Sejun ended the conversation with Ramter. SHHK. You have harvested 5,619 grains of golden rice, plus 2. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV9 has increased slightly. You have gained 674,280 experience points. Sejun diligently harvested the rice. Kyung, Kaying. Meanwhile, Kyungi and Blackie transported the harvested rice, and Kwek. The mushroom ants milled the rice with their front teeth, turning it into white rice. As everyone busily carried out their tasks. Meow meow meow. Theo, like grasshopper, hung onto Sejun's knee, humming to himself. Of course, Theo was also working. Meow, Chairman Park, I feel a pull coming from over there, meow. Theo was acting as a new variety detector. Really? At Theo's words, Sejun hurried to the spot Theo's front paw was pointing to. Vice Chairman Theo, is it this one? Sejun pointed to a rice that didn't look particularly different from the others. Puhuhut, that's the one, meow. Got it. SHHK. Hearing Theo's confirmation, Sejun harvested the rice. You have harvested 3,781 grains of golden rice, plus 2. You have harvested 1 grain of golden glutinous rice. Glutinous rice. It's sticky rice. That means I can make things like glutinous rice cakes and glutinous rice chili paste. While thinking happily about all the dishes he could make with sticky rice, you have achieved the feat of creating a new variety in the tower. Due to your job trait, all stats increased by 20. Messages appeared notifying him of the new variety's harvest. Since the rice didn't look visually distinct, Sejun carefully inspected each grain of rice to find the glutinous rice grains. And then, found it. He found the glutinous rice grain and checked its options. Golden glutinous rice. Rice that grew in the Great Tower and underwent a mutation, transforming into glutinous rice with excellent stickiness and easy digestibility. It has been grown by an outstanding farmer, greatly enhancing its effects. Consuming 100,000 grains of glutinous rice triggers the glutinous rice as medicine effect. When activated, the glutinous rice as medicine effect randomly increases strength, stamina, agility, and magic stats by a total of 150. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 180 days. Grade S. Unfortunately, the +2 effect of golden rice was gone, but because it was easier to digest, the medicinal effect was stronger than regular rice. Hezeli. If I enhance it to +2 here, it'll be even better than the +2 golden rice, right? Sejun smiled contentedly after checking the options, and carefully placed 1 grain of glutinous rice into the pouch of abundance, crafted with utmost sincerity. One day until 100 golden glutinous rice seeds are replicated. The text appeared on the side of the pouch. Great! Once I have about 500 grains, I'll plant them. After confirming the text, Sejun went back to harvesting rice. A short while later. Everyone, great job. When the rice harvest was finished, Sejun shared snacks with his companions and took a break. When Sejun sat down, Pyuhyuhut, Kkyuha, Theo and Kyungi naturally took their places on Sejun's knee and side. Kaying, Butler, lift me up. Blackie, holding a piece of roasted and dried sweet potato in his mouth, barked, asking to be placed in the sling bag. All right. When Sejun lifted Blackie and put him into the sling bag. Kivihit. Chomp chomp chomp. Inside the sling bag, Blackie and his subordinates happily munched on their roasted sweet potato snacks. While the group rested and enjoyed their snacks. Where should I go? Sejun reviewed the Red Tower land deeds he owned and the Experienced Farmer's Plant Encyclopedia to decide which floor to visit. The Red Tower land deeds he possessed were for floors 22, 53, 78, and 94. The Plant Encyclopedia revealed that Red Tower crops included fire beans planted on nearly every floor, the cold mangosteen on the 22nd floor, and aloe on the 57th floor. I guess I'll go to the 22nd floor. Since the only overlap between the land deeds and the encyclopedia was the 22nd floor, Sejun decided on that as his destination. If there had been something like aloe instead of mangosteen on the 22nd floor, Sejun might have chosen a different floor just for the adventure. Conversely, even if he had known what was on floors 53, 78, or 94, his destination still would have been the 22nd floor. Because mangosteen is the queen of fruits. With his destination set, Sejun declared, "Everyone get in the void storage." Sejun sent his companions into the void storage and, swoosh, unfolded the land deed for the Red Tower's 22nd floor, disappearing in an instant. You have arrived at the 22nd floor of the Red Tower. Sejun arrived at the Red Tower. As hot air rushed into his nose like he had stepped into a dry sauna. Hoop! He felt his nose and throat burn slightly, along with a searing sensation. And then, sizzle! The heat from the scorching sand beneath his feet radiated up to the soles of his feet. This is way too hot. Sejun quickly became drenched in sweat. He had endured the cold with sheer stamina before, but this heat was unbearable. At that moment, clink! Pyuhyuhut, Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Theo jumped onto Sejun's face. Hey, it's hot, wait, huh? Sejun, who was about to complain at Theo clinging to his face, was startled by an unexpected coolness. Pyuhyuhut, Great Hybrid Chairman Park, can't control body temperature with magic power, meow. Huh, you can do that. Yes, meow. How do you do it? Meow, you just do it, meow. Just do it. While Sejun was dumbfounded by Theo's vague explanation. Kyung, Kaying, Kyungi and Blackie family also rushed out from the void storage. However, Kaying, Great Blackie is going to burn to death. Blackie, carried by his subordinates, quickly went back into the void storage. Clink, and closed the door in a hurry. Although Blackie had the ability to regulate his body temperature, he lacked magic power to do it. Kyungi, on the other hand, instinctively knew how to regulate his body temperature, but Kyungi can just do it. Couldn't explain it to Sejun. Thanks to Theo and Kyungi, who had naturally cooled him down, Sejun felt a bit more comfortable and began looking around. Oh, mangosteens! He spotted deep purple mangosteens hanging from trees nearly 10 meters tall. Grab! when Sejun grabbed the closest mangosteen to harvest it. SHHK. An ant the size of two finger joints that had been hiding behind the mangosteen fruit revealed itself. The ant opened its sharp front teeth, aiming to bite Sejun, but Hehe, looks like it's ripe. Excited by the thought of eating the mangosteen, Sejun didn't notice the ant at all. At that moment, meow. Theo, Sejun's bodyguard, swiftly swung his front paw and took out the ant. And then, Guard Theopark has eliminated a bullet ant. You have gained 50 experience points, which is 50% of the experience gained by Guard Theo. A message appeared. Bullet ant. I heard getting bitten by a bullet ant hurts terribly. Phew, that was close. Vice Chairman Theo, you did great, thank you. Sejun let out a sigh of relief as he checked the message and patted Theo's head in praise. Pew Hugh Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo always do great, meow, so Chairman Park should always be grateful to me, meow. While Theo puffed up with pride at Sejun's compliment. SSSSSK. With an ominous sound, tens of thousands of bullet ants that had been hiding in the mangosteen tree started crawling towards Sejun. And then, a quest has been generated. Quest, eliminate the bullet ant colony occupying the mangosteen farm. Bullet ants 150000. Soldier bullet ants 05000. Queen bullet ants 01. Reward, recognition as the rightful owner of the mangosteen farm on the 22nd floor of the Red Tower. A land deed quest message appeared in front of Sejun. Kyungi, lightly roast them without hurting the tree. Kyung. Got it. Crackle crackle. Following Sejun's instructions, Kyungi grabbed the thunderbolt staff and released a small burst of electrical energy. You have eliminated the bullet ant colony. You have completed the quest. With just one strike of Kyungi's lightning, the quest was completed. All right, now let's harvest the mangosteens. Pew Hut understood, meow. Kyung. While Sejun, Theo, and Kyungi busily harvested mangosteens in the Red Tower. Flamunum, I can't do this anymore. Open your mouth. You're far from becoming a dimensional tree. On the 99th floor of the Black Tower, Flamey, taking advantage of Sejun's absence, was busy force-feeding Pottery special nutritional supplements for becoming a dimensional tree. I don't want to become a dimensional tree. Pottery wanted to scream those words, but they stayed stuck in his throat. Gulp. He swallowed the supplement, holding back his complaints. He didn't want to be burned to death by Flamey's fire. Getting promoted isn't good after all. Watching Pottery endure, the sausage tree decided to stay as quiet and unnoticed as possible for the foreseeable future. Chapter 569, Park Sejun Yukonman. 22nd floor of the Red Tower. Kilahit Kaying. Hee butler, give me more. Blackie stuck his head out just slightly from a small gap in the void storage and urged Sejun. All right. Plop. To help Blackie, who was suffering from the heat, Sejun peeled the skin off a mangosteen and placed the flesh into Blackie's mouth. Kilahit Kang, so refreshing. Blackie immediately pulled his head back into the void storage and chomp chomp chomp. The sound of Blackie and his subordinates happily eating soon followed. The cold mangosteen, true to its name, had a naturally cool flesh and provided a heat resistance effect that kept the body cool for 1 hour. Are you feeling better now? Sejun looked at Blackie, who seemed to have regained some energy, and resumed harvesting mangosteens together with Theo and Kyungi. A little while later. Kilahit Kaying. Great Blackie has been revived. Blackie, now with heat resistance, came leaping out of the void storage with boundless energy. Perhaps too much energy. Kaying. I smell something delicious here. Overflowing with energy, Blackie secretly jumped toward a basket full of harvested mangosteens while Sejun was busy harvesting. Kaying. Blackie wiggled his body and crawled into the basket. Kaying. Found it. Crunch crunch. Blackie, with his excellent deboning skills, peeled the mangosteen skin and killed it, saying, "Hee guys, let's eat." He shared it with his subordinates, and they ate fervently. A short while later, saying, "Butler, my stomach hurts. I feel cold." K. Kurug. Sharalaring. The Blackie family, having eaten 5 mangosteens each, approached Sejun with weak voices and flopped down in front of him. Sigh. Sejun hurriedly started rubbing Blackie's belly first. "My hands are healing hands. Blackie's belly is a poop belly." TL. The first part refers to a song that goes like, "Grandmother's hands are healing hands." The second part is an old term with a negative connotation, used to describe someone who has gained weight. It implies that their intestines are filled with poop and need to be cleared by losing weight. This term was commonly used in the old marketing of diet products. While singing a teasing song. Fortunately, Sejun's stomach rubbing seemed to have an effect. Killahit Kaying. Hee Butler, I feel better now. Blackie soon regained his energy. "Please take care of me next." Next, Iamdal laid down in front of Sejun, and "My hands are healing hands. Iamdal's belly is a poop belly." Sejun took turns treating each member of the Blackie family. "Puhut, it's coming this way, meow." "Kyungi, it's coming this way." Theo and Kyungi, who had finished harvesting mangosteens midway, joined in, speeding up the treatment process. Once the stomachache treatment was completed. "Now let's head to the waypoint." Sejun and his companions moved toward the waypoint on the 22nd floor of the tower. "Who are you?" Seems like Udon hadn't informed Flame Squirrel Yappy, 22nd floor boss, sent killing intent towards Sejun and his companions. Water bomb. Boom. With just a single show of strength from Sejun in the clearing. "Welcome, please come in." The path was opened immediately. Click, the waypoint on the 22nd floor of the red tower has been saved. Sejun placed his hand on the red crystal to register the waypoint. "Yappy, how's life these days?" "Huh. Big bro's trying to help you here. Don't be scared, tell me." "Oh, are you really going to help me? Actually, there's this squirrel I like." "Unrequited love, huh, ha ha ha. Yappy, you should consider yourself lucky." "Because I am none other than love expert Park Sejun." While providing Yappy with love advice, Sejun chatted with him to pass the time, as they had to wait for Udon to arrive. A little later. "Sejun Nim, you're here." "Yeah, Udon, how have you been?" "Very well, here, the land deed for the 99th floor of the tower. I've already informed the boss, so all you need to do is register it." Udon, who had run over quickly, handed over the land deed for the 99th floor. "Thanks." Sejun received the land deed. "Yappy, try confessing like I told you. That way, you'll have a 100% chance of succeeding." "Yes, Sejun Nim, thank you so much." Then fighting. Encouraging Yappy, Sejun used the land deed and moved to the 99th floor of the tower. And then, "All right, love expert Sejun Nim said if I give her delicious food while confessing, I'll succeed." Bolstered by Sejun's encouragement, Yappy confidently confessed to the squirrel he liked, holding the acorns he received from Sejun. The result. What love expert, Park Sejun Yukonmin. He was rejected. You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Red Tower. The moment he arrived, Sejun looked around the sky. "It's over there." Sejun moved toward the location, where a crimson pillar of light was visible. As he approached the waypoint, battle maniac Balrog, boss of the 99th floor of the Red Tower. A massive humanoid monster with red skin, a single horn, a thick tail, and a body slightly smaller than the Minotaur King appeared. "Welcome." As Udon had said, Balrog opened the path to the waypoint. He, as expected, free pass. "Thanks." Sejun smiled as he walked past Balrog. However, what was that look? Although he was granted passage, Sejun instinctively flinched as Balrog sent a murderous aura his way. Balrog, upset about not being able to fight after following Udon's orders to let Sejun through, was provoking him. A true battle maniac who would bet his life on combat, that was Balrog. But today Balrog had picked the wrong opponent, because this time he'd literally have to bet his life and his future. Kyung. Kyungi saw that you sent killing intent toward Dad. Kyungi will teach you a lesson. The filial son Kyungi couldn't let it slide, and swung his front paw at Balrog's face without hesitation. Great if he hits its self-defense. Balrog, thrilled at the incoming attack, welcomed it. But, boom! Kyungi's strength was far beyond what Balrog had imagined. Kyudung Tang. Hit by Kyungi, Balrog rolled hundreds of meters and Uwag, thud, finally passed out. And then, Puhu Hut, Balrog is now a permanent employee of Sejun Company, meow. Stamp. Theo stamped the seal on the forehead of the unconscious Balrog, officially making him an employee of Sejun Company. See, I told you not to mess around. Udon, who had hurried over just in case, sighed as he saw the cat paw print stamped on Balrog's forehead. Once the surroundings were settled, clicking, Sejun placed his hand on the crystal. The waypoint on the 99th floor of the Red Tower has been saved. Congratulations! You have achieved the great feat of clearing all 9 towers managed by the dragons. As a reward for this achievement, you have obtained the title, One Who Reached the Summit of the 9 Towers. Due to the effect of title, One Who Reached the Summit of the 9 Towers, the waypoints of all 99th floors of the cleared 9 towers are now interconnected. Due to the effect of title, One Who Reached the Summit of the 9 Towers, the effect of title, Retrogressor increases 9-fold within the towers. Due to the effect of title, One Who Reached the Summit of the 9 Towers, you gain 5 seconds of invincibility after descending from the tower. Messages about obtaining a title appeared. It didn't seem to have any particularly special effects. Probably because it's not perfect yet. After all, there was still the 10th tower remaining. All right, time to head back. Just as Sejun was about to return to the 99th floor of the Black Tower, you have cleared all the towers managed by dragons and proven your worth by passing the trials of the 10th tower. A new message appeared. Worth. As Sejun tilted his head in confusion, a quest has been triggered. Quest: gather the 10 Creator Gods tablets scattered across the 10 towers and combine them into one. Reward: all stat potential plus 50000, all stats plus 10000, 100 trillion tower coins. A quest message appeared. If it's the Creator Gods tablets, is it talking about the stone placed in front of my house? Hahaha, then I already have one secured. Feeling slightly tense due to the enormous reward, Sejun smiled as he left the waypoint and looked around. Since he had come this far, he intended to collect the Creator God's tablet located in the Red Tower as well. Of Udon. Conveniently, there was a subordinate he could ask. If you're talking about the Creator God's tablet, it's over there. Udon guided Sejun to a gray rock about 5 meters in size. And then, third commandment, when a tower farmer has 2 or more tower farmers under them, they can borrow part of their subordinate tower farmer's abilities. The Creator God's tablet in the Red Tower also had unreadable text inscribed on it. Udon, what does this say? Sejun asked Udon, and Udon relayed what he had heard from Ramter. But, I already know this. The contents of the tablet were of no use to Sejun, who already commanded all the tower farmers. Ramter Nim, can I take this tablet? After hearing about the contents of the Creator God's tablet from Udon, Sejun called for Ramter and asked for the tablet. The Red Tower's administrator says that because it's a tablet created by the Creator God, it cannot be given away. Ramter firmly refused. I'll give you 100 bottles each of cherry wine and watermelon wine in exchange. Will that work? The Red Tower's administrator still says no. Sejun tried to negotiate with specialty wines, but Ramter didn't budge. However, he hesitated a bit. Sejun caught the momentary hesitation. 500 bottles each of cherry wine and watermelon wine. Believing there was a chance, he raised the offer. Then, the Red Tower's administrator says it's difficult. Ramter was visibly wavering. Truthfully, the Creator God's tablet wasn't particularly important to Ramter. It was just something he kept because it had been made by the Creator God, more out of obligation than necessity. I'll also add 100 Transcendence black beans. Red Tower's administrator says that although it's an important item since you need it, he will make an exception just for you. Thank you, I'll deliver the wine and beans once I return. Sejun bowed his head in gratitude to Ramter. Kyungi loaded up. Kyung. Sejun had Kyungi load the Creator God's tablet into the void storage. And with that, Udon, see you next time. Sejun bid farewell to Udon and returned to the Black Tower. Once Sejun and his group disappeared. Hey, Sejun is gone, so is Kyungi. Udon approached the still unconscious Balrog and spoke. At that, really? Balrog, who had been pretending to be unconscious because he was too terrified of Kyungi, suddenly sprang up. On Balrog's left cheek was a large, dark bruise in the shape of Kyungi's paw, which stood out even more against his red skin, and on his forehead was a cat paw print. PFFFD. Udon couldn't hold back his laughter at Balrog's ridiculous appearance. You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sejun returned home. Ajax, send me the Creator God's tablet. The White Tower's honorary employee says okay. Ajax, the good little brother, readily agreed to Sejun's request. Creator God's tablet has arrived. Thud. The tablet Ajax sent appeared in front of Sejun. Good, now I have 3 Creator God's tablets. Ophelia, send me the Creator God's tablet you have. I'll reduce your slave contract by 100 years. Green Tower's honorary employee says okay. Thud. Hehe, 4 acquired. Without much effort, Sejun had collected 4 Creator God's tablets. Ramter Nim, here you go. At the fountain, Sejun handed over 500 bottles each of cherry wine and watermelon wine, as well as 100 black beans, to Ramter. At this, Sejun, why are you only giving them to Ramter? This is too unfair. That's right, give some to us too. Kaiser, Kellyan, and Tyr openly voiced their dissatisfaction towards Sejun. This isn't a gift, it's payment for a transaction. Indeed, it's fair compensation I received for giving Sejun the Creator God's tablet. Ramter spoke proudly, supporting Sejun's explanation. Ahem. Kaiser, who didn't have a Creator God's tablet to offer for trade, swallowed his words and, What, Sejun, then let's make a deal with me too. Me too. Though Kellyan and Tyr shouted enthusiastically. I'm sorry, I already received the tablet from the White Tower through Ajax. What, my grandson did. Kellyan was immediately struck with despair. And then, ha, Sejun, I'll trade with you. I'll take 1,000 bottles of detoxifying wine and 100 black beans in exchange. Tyr, who could offer a deal, proposed his terms with a triumphant voice. The detoxifying wine was a type of liquor brewed by Sejun using the detoxifying green onions, capable of purifying poisonous energy, making it popular among the purple dragons. Yes, but I don't have any detoxifying wine prepared at the moment, so it'll take about 10 days. That much time is more than enough. Then I'll send you the Creator God's tablet. A short while later. Thud. The Creator God's tablet sent by Tyr through Veronica appeared in front of Sejun. I need to clean this quickly before it contaminates the other plants. Since the tablet from the Purple Tower was covered in poisonous energy, Sejun consumed a detoxifying green onion and maintained cleanliness. Water bomb. Using 2 skills simultaneously, he thoroughly cleaned the tablet. When Sejun had gathered a total of 5 Creator God's tablets in front of his house, 4 additional Creator God's tablets are placed around the temple. The divine power received through the blessing of the Creator God increases tenfold. Oh, as expected, trust in Park. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. The non-combat gods at the Seed Shop headquarters were moved once again today by the grace of Trust in Park. Chapter 570, Sejun, Leave It to Me. Black Tower Administrator Area. Really? You need to collect the Creator God's tablets. Sejun, don't worry, leave the rest to me. After asking what the tablets in front of Sejun's house were, Aileen learned that Sejun needed to gather 10 Creator God's tablets. I'll take care of this. Aileen decided to handle it herself, thinking this was her chance to help Sejun. Black Tower's tower farmer, Park Sejun, says you need not worry. Sejun, leave it to me. Black Tower's tower farmer, Park Sejun, says he's counting on you. Yes. After Aileen had already decided to do it herself, Sejun decided to entrusted her with gathering the Creator God's tablets from the 4 towers, excluding the 10th tower. Thus, Aileen took on Sejun's request. Scribble, scribble. Dear Sylvia Unnai. Sylvia Unnai, I need your help. The Creator God's tablet in the Silver Tower. She started writing a letter to Sylvia, who seemed the most likely to succeed among the hatchlings in the towers where Sejun hadn't yet obtained the Creator God's tablets. Then she wrote letters to Hakon of the Blue Tower, Hokus of the Golden Tower, and Garrick of the Brown Tower. Kitahiri. While Aileen was happily writing letters to help Sejun. What about here, Vice Chairman Theo? Meow, there's no pull here either, meow. Sejun, accompanied by Theo, was searching for the Creator God's tablet in the 10th tower, just in case they had missed it somewhere. Of course, before starting the search, he had already asked Patrick, the god of Earth and the administrator of the 10th tower. Creator God's tablet, I've never heard of such a thing existing here. Patrick didn't even know there was a Creator God's tablet in the 10th tower. A little while later. Looks like it might be on a different floor. That seems to be the case, meow. Despite meticulously searching from the 1st to the 5th floor of the tower, Theo's front paws showed no reaction. Sejun returned to the Black Tower, ate dinner with his companions, and prepared a detoxifying wine for Tyr. Of course, he didn't forget to prepare a delicious dinner and sweet snacks for Aileen, who was working hard for him. Aileen, I'm going to bed. Tower's administrator says good night and that there will be good news tomorrow. Okay. Hearing Aileen's words, Sejun closed his eyes. Kuwar. Gorarong. Kekirarong. Soon, the only sounds in the quiet bedroom were the snores of Sejun, Theo, and the Blackie family. And then, pip-pip, good night, everyone. As the night deepened, Peacebees began its activities. Chomp-chomp. Peacebees started its day by eating the fruit lunchbox Sejun had prepared in the kitchen. Pip-pip, there's a new fruit, it's so refreshing. Peacebees happily munched on the mangosteen that Sejun had brought from the Red Tower. 119. Pihe, I ate too much today, so I'm stuffed. After finishing its meal and patting its now bulging belly, Peacebees took a short break. Swoosh. It then created a dimensional gate and began searching the outskirts of destruction, where Jormungandr and Hydra resided. Swoosh, swoosh. Peacebees repeatedly opened and closed dozens of dimensional gates, but pip-pip, looks like another failure today too. There were no results. I should stop here for today. Swoosh. Feeling disheartened, Peacebees made one last dimensional jump. Pip-pip. It's snowing. Peacebees arrived at a place where snow was falling heavily from the sky. A picturesque snowy landscape. Flap, flap. Excited by the sight of snow, Peacebees flew around the area energetically. And then, pip-pip, this place feels familiar. It realized the place felt strangely familiar. At that moment, pip-pip, what's that? Peacebees spotted 3 massive snowmen in the distance. As it approached the snowmen to take a closer look, it noticed smaller snowmen as well. Supergiant Chairman Park. Kyungi's dad Park Sejun. My love Theonim. Words were written on the bodies of the giant snowmen, also became visible. That's right. This was the 89th floor of the tower. It was where Sejun had spent his vacation with Flamey. Pip pip, I'm here too. Parg Peacebees. Peacebees rejoiced as it saw its name written on a small snowman. Peacebees, I made your snowman too. Let's go see it together later. At the same time, it remembered Sejun's words about making a snowman of it. Piha, it's my snowman that Sejun Nim made for me. Forgetting its mission to search the outskirts of destruction, Peacebees spent a long time admiring its snowman made by Sejun. Pip pip, I'm sleepy now. Through the dimensional gate, Peacebees returned home. And so the 89th floor of the tower, where Peacebees had disappeared from. Kugagung. The supergiant Chairman Park snowman opened its mouth and began absorbing the surrounding snow, as if trying to preserve the memories for Sejun and his companions who would return someday. Thanks to this, the snowmen were never buried in snow and continued to maintain their original forms, holding onto the memories of Sejun and his companions. Hoo. The supergiant Chairman Park snowman gazed at them contentedly and went back to sleep. Silver Dragon's territory. You need Sylvia's help. Sylvia fired up with a sense of mission after receiving Aileen's letter. All right, Sylvia and I will help you. Exhaling puffs of air in excitement, Sylvia marched confidently but adorably with waddling steps to find her father. Dad. Huh. Ulan, the rookie dad, tensed up immediately when his daughter called with full fighting spirit. Sylvia needs the Creature God's tablet. Sylvia spoke to Ulan in a voice that sounded as serious as she could manage. Creature God's tablet? You mean the Creator God's tablet? Ah, that's right, Creator God's tablet. Aileen said she needs the Creator God's tablet. Sylvia is her unnigh, so I'm going to help Aileen. Don't even think about playing with Sylvia if you don't grant this request. Sylvia shot Ulan a determined look full of conviction. Phew, thank goodness. Ulan breathed a sigh of relief internally as he met Sylvia's intense gaze. Sylvia's request was something he could fulfill. It just so happened that his aunt had already instructed him to take the Creator God's tablet to the Black Tower and trade it with Sejun. For the record, Ulan's aunt was none other than Chrysella Hisron, the leader of the Great Silver Dragons. While Aileen was busy writing letters to the hatchlings, Kaiser and Kellyan had spread the word to the leaders of the other 4 towers that they could trade the Creator God's tablets with Sejun. In return, the 2 dragons agreed to receive liquor from Sejun as an incentive if the deal was successful. Sylvia, trust in Dad. Dad will bring the Creator God's tablet. Thus, with a confident declaration to his daughter, Ulan retrieved the Creator God's tablet from the 99th floor of the Silver Tower. Wow, my dad is the best. Sylvia ran to Ulan and embraced him tightly. Huh, what did my daughter just say? I said Dad is the best. Sniff, my Sylvia just told me I'm the best. With Sylvia in one arm and the Creator God's tablet in the other, Ulan flew toward the Black Tower with a grin stretching from ear to ear. Thud. When the father and daughter arrived at the Black Tower, Aileen, Sylvia and I brought the Creator God's tablet. Sylvia proudly called out to Aileen in a loud voice. At that moment, thud. Aileen, Hocus Opa brought the Creator God's tablet. Hocus, who had arrived at the Black Tower with his mother, Godiella, also called out for Aileen. Kitahiti, thank you, Unnai and Opa. Aileen, if you need help again, just ask Sylvia Unnai. What? Tell Hocus Opa instead. No way. Aileen is closer to Sylvia than Hocus Opa, so she'll ask Sylvia. That's not true, Aileen. Unnai Opa don't fight, have some of this. When Sylvia and Hocus were about to argue, Aileen quickly offered them some mangosteen that Sejun had given her to calm them down. While the 3 young dragons peacefully peeled and ate mangosteen together. You two follow me. Yes. Yes. Kaiser quietly called Ulan and Godiella over. They were planning to make a separate deal with Sejun. as the adults began their negotiations with Sejun. Kitahiti, Sejun will be so happy. Hee, Sylvia really felt like a big sister today. Hoo, now Aileen will know how amazing I am. The young dragons felt proud of their accomplishments and played joyfully, each basking in the satisfaction of having contributed. Having secured 2 Creator God's tablets in one fell swoop, Aileen thought she might be able to gather the remaining 2 quickly as well. Aileen, Sylvia and I is leaving now. I'm going too. After Sylvia and Hocus left, Hakon and Garrick still hadn't arrived even as the night deepened. Instead, what came were tear-stained letters from the 2. Both letters said the same thing. Neither of them knew where the Creator God's tablet was. The Creator God's tablets hadn't been found, yet in the Blue Tower and Brown Tower. The Great Blue Dragon and Brown Dragon had only just learned of the tablets' existence in their respective towers, and were now scrambling to find them. The next morning, the tower's administrator says she's sorry for not being able to find all 4 Creator God's tablets for you. As soon as Sejun woke up, Aileen expressed her apology. What are you sorry for? If anything, I should be grateful. Thanks to you, I was able to get 2 Creator God's tablets so easily. Sejun comforted Aileen, who was apologizing to him, and expressed his gratitude. It wasn't just a polite expression of thanks, but genuine gratitude. The fact that Aileen had gone out of her way for him made him truly grateful. Aileen, you worked hard because of me yesterday, didn't you? Here, have this. Along with his thanks, Sejun handed over a 10-layered whipped cream pancake topped with her favorite chocolate ice cream. Tears of emotion well up in the tower administrator's eyes. Why are you crying over something like this? Sniff. Though Sejun said that, tears were welling up in his own eyes as well. He didn't know why, but they just came out. Hut, Chairman Park, meow. Theo chuckled as he watched Sejun like this. Are you mocking me? Feeling embarrassed, Sejun playfully picked a fight with Theo while discreetly wiping away his tears. And then, that makes 7 now. Sejun looked at the Creator God's tablets in front of his house and spoke. For reference, the Creator God's tablet from the Silver Tower had the following text inscribed on it. 8th Commandment, if all tower farmers disappear, the towers will collapse. And 1st Commandment, 2nd Commandment, 3rd Commandment. 5th and 6th Commandments. 8th and 9th Commandments. Sejun tried to connect the Creator God's tablets he currently had in sequential order, but without all of them, they didn't combine. A little while later. Great Hybrid Chairman Park, give me money, meow. It's been 30 days, so I need to link it to a new place, meow. Theo, who was opening the bag of the legendary merchant wandering the 9 towers, held out his front paw to Sejun. Is it that time already? Here. Hut, thank you, meow. After receiving money from Sejun, Theo opened his bag, put the money in and went in and came out. Vice Chairman Theo, where's it linked to? 34th floor of the Brown Tower, meow. Really? Hut, I'll go and earn lots of money, meow. All right, take care. With Sejun seeing him off, Theo climbed into the bag. Swish, swish. Looking around, Theo searched for a village to sell goods to. There it is, meow. He spotted smoke rising into the sky in the distance. Tab, 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 tab. Theo quickly dashed toward the source of the smoke. But, meow. Who's this punk? Kekek, what an unlucky fool, to walk into the hideout of the Brown Outlaws by himself. The place Theo arrived at wasn't a village, but a hideout crawling with bandits. Hut, if you're asking who I am, it's only polite to answer. I am the right-hand man of Great Hybrid Chairman Park, the deadly Dragon Claw. While Theo was passionately introducing himself. Clink. The bandits surrounded him, pulling out their weapons. Hut. Of course, Theo was very pleased, because it was an opportunity to make money for free. Stamp the contract, meow. Theo began his first business, on 34th floor of the Brown Tower.